February 7th, 2017. It's a lot of sevens in there. If you stand, you can pledge allegiance, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Let me get organized here. Okay. Review and approval of the agenda. Anybody have anything to add to it? No.
I make a motion that the agenda be approved as submitted.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Let's see, announcements. We get third quarter taxes were due Wednesday, February 1st. Fourth quarter taxes are due May 1st. Payments can be made by mail, in office, online, or by leaving in the lockbox located outside the Columbia Street entrance of Town Hall. Dog tags for 2017 are available. Dog tags can be obtained in office of the town clerk. Printing a form from our website and mailing it in, or requesting and paying online. Also new this year, residents under the age of 70 are waived the fee for dogs per town meeting vote on 10/24/16. 2017 census was mailed on Monday, January 9th. Please complete and return to the town's clerk's office within 10 days of receipt. Sorry. Also, we had 3 warrants that were signed. January 24th.
You can take out the back one, the third one, because Janice signed it, so I'll have someone else.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So, January 24th, $511,729.17. The warrant number 17-13 and 17-15 on January 31st, $337,773.71. Okay. Moving right along at lightning speed. Public input. Mr. Fay, what's your poison?
Memorial Garden.
Memorial Guide. Anybody else? You want to come up?
Thank you. This will be very brief. We're hoping to, and what's the cutoff for warrant articles?
For May, oh, good.
Friday, April 14th at noon.
Good, that's what we thought. I'd like to enlist the Selectmen's office through Robert and/or his trusty experience on getting a warrant article put together for the Memorial Garden. We find that we're going to more than likely be looking for a very large piece of granite, which means a very large dollar amount, more than what normal fundraising could. So,
Do you have like measurements and stuff for that?
well, we'll get them. Yeah, I just want to ask if you would be open to that, to have me come in and work with.
On a warrant article?
Right. Just get, because we're going to need a lot of money to want to do it right.
How's the board feel?
I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
The town would
Good,
approve or
good.
disapprove.
As you know, we're going to pursue not only for what this year's recognitions will be, but for the future. And we want to do that with, in keeping with what we have now. And those are some pretty big monuments we've got.
Where are you
And
gonna put
they
it?
are beautiful.
Where will you put it?
Well, that's yet to be determined, and that may indeed be another cost factor. We might have to, well, I don't know yet, so, but it may be a cost factor as far as getting something that big and where to put it, and, we want to do it right. So it'll be,
seems like we get a consensus that that's fine.
Yeah, and I think, knowing this town, the town will come to our aid.
Mm-hmm.
So,
All right.
Thank you.
More to come.
more to come.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Jim. Public hearing poll petition, National Grid, Pheasant Circle. We have a National Grid rep?
Mr. Chair, before the clerk reads the notice, the National Grid just contacted us that due to the weather, the rep they were sending wasn't going to be here. However, respectfully, I would recommend that the board continue with the hearing because all the poll petition is for Pheasant Circle has been reviewed by all departments and there were no objections. So
Okay.
I would recommend that the board conduct the hearing.
All right.
All right, so this was the notification to abutters. It's the public hearing notice from the Town of Ayer Board of Selectmen.
Sorry.
Siri, butt out. The Ayer Board of Selectmen will be conducting a public hearing on Tuesday, February 7th, 2017, at 7:05 p.m. at the Ayer Town Hall, first floor meeting room, 1 Main Street, Ayer, Mass. 01432, regarding the application by National Grid, number 22508879, to construct a line of underground electric conduits, including the necessary sustaining and protecting fixtures, under and across the public way or ways hereinafter named. Wherefore, it prays that after due notice and hearing, as provided by law, it be granted permission to excavate the public highways and to run and maintain underground electric conduits, together with such sustaining and protecting fixtures as it may find necessary for the transmission of electricity, said underground conduits to be located substantially in accordance with the plan filed herewith marked Pheasant Circle, Ayer, Massachusetts. The following are the streets and highways referred to, Plan Number 22508879. Pheasant Circle, National Grid beginning at a point approximately 380 feet west of the center line of the intersection of Groton School Road and continuing approximately 40 feet in the south direction. National Grid to install conduit from existing transformer across street for customer service. Will be only a street crossing in the public way.
Okay.
Okay.
Open the public hearing. National Grid. We have questions on this, Robert?
Again, Mr. Chair, as the board has in the packet, which was also put up for the public, has gone through the interdepartmental review and was approved by all departments. There's no objection. It's a relatively straightforward underground utility. So unless there are members of the public that want to speak to it.
Robert, is it going across Groton School Road?
No, do you have the map? No.
No?
No.
No.
It goes across
Mm-mm.
the Pheasant Circle right before the cul-de-sac.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to rip up the street. Okay. That's all the question I have. Chris?
Make a motion to grant National Grid permission to install underground services as read by the clerk. Plan number 22508879.
Seconded?
Moved and seconded. Do we have any discussion? Anybody in the audience have a question? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
All right.
Make a motion.
Oh, I make a motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Okay. Next set of public hearing. All right. Town of Ayer, notice of public hearing, Ayer Board of Selectmen. The Ayer Board of Selectmen will conduct a public hearing on Tuesday, February 7th, 2017, at 7:10 p.m. at the Ayer Town Hall, first floor meeting room, 1 Main Street, Ayer, Mass. 01432, regarding an application by 9 Main Ayer Incorporated, 9 Main Street, Ayer, Mass. 01432, seeking a transfer of Section 12 all alcohol license from New England Flatbread and Ale Company Incorporated to 9 Main Ayer Incorporated pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 138. Gary J. Luca, Chair. Christopher R. Hillman, Vice Chair. Janice L. Livingston, Clerk. and it was, the public notice was printed on January 26, 2017.
Okay. So this is, Carly, an application for transfer?
Yeah, of the existing license that has been approved for the past 2 years by this board for New England Flatbread. And they have someone they're transferring it to that would be opening the restaurant at the same location.
At the same location?
Yep, and he's here in the audience.
Okay, yep. Come on up. Hi, how you doing?
How are you?
Hi.
Good. Do you have anything to add to that, or?
Sure. My name is Ken.
Yeah.
We recently purchased the building, and we were gonna do a Japanese restaurant over there, and using the same location we're gonna buy it, and we're gonna do a all alcohol license for the customer, and we can serve some Japanese food and some sushi from the kitchen,
Nice.
and hopefully it will attract more people
Mm-hmm.
from the town and get more people to come to this town.
Yeah, that's
That
great.
sounds nice.
Yeah, I'll be there. Is there anything that needs to be Board of Health, Fire, or anything?
The only thing was, well, yeah, before, we'll send it out for that review again after we get it back from the ABCC.
Yeah.
So what we'll do tomorrow, assuming it's approved now, post the ABCC, and then once they give it the okay, then I'll print up the licenses, but that has a whole process. We'll go through Board of Health again and
Okay.
Fire Department.
So we can approve contingent upon?
You can you could,
Just the
just a
transfer.
straight approved the
Yeah.
transfer.
Okay. Any questions? Anybody in the audience? No? Chris?
I would like to make a motion to transfer the all alcohol license from New England Flatbread and Ale Company Incorporated to 9 Main Street Incorporated. Signature by the board.
Yep.
The signature by the board.
Seconded?
Moving and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All set.
Thank you.
When do you plan on opening?
At this point, working on getting a new floor plan set up, and then try to review that with fire department and building department.
Yep.
And then once we get building permit going, then we can start to working on the kitchen and some other stuff.
Good.
Hopefully summertime, June, July, we'll get it going when the weather is a lot nice compared to now.
Oh, good.
At the same time, I'm trying to install a fire sprinkler for the restaurant itself. Hopefully that will be ready sooner before the restaurant opens.
All right, good.
Good.
Excellent.
Congratulations.
Good luck.
Wish you luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you.
I make a motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
Moving second and close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Alicia,
Good evening.
how are you today?
Good. How are you guys?
Tonight. Good. Got a lien subordination
Yes.
request, case number 04285E and 05285?
Correct.
Okay.
And it's a pretty straightforward one. It is a little bit over 80% loan to value ratio. So it is your decision if you, it's at what? I put it in here. 84.12. So it is to consolidate debt and to get a little bit better interest rate, but mostly to consolidate debt and take care of some personal reorganization.
And this is just the usual, you have to become the second lien holder.
Yes, yes,
So,
Yes.
standard.
yes. It's standard. It's with a good bank.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay.
Yeah.
I make a motion that the Board of Selectmen approve the lien subordination request, case number 04-285E and 05-285, as presented in the packet and by Alicia.
Second.
Moved in second. Is that a signature by everybody?
No, just you,
Just
just
the
the
chair.
chair, by
Just the
signature
chair.
by the chair.
Okay.
Oh. Did I leave you them? No, I'll get them, sorry, they're right here.
Okay, so that she's
So you can
amended.
just get them tomorrow. Perfect, thank
Janice
you.
amended it. That all right, Chris?
Yeah, oh, yes.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Get it tomorrow.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too. Thank you.
Good night. Drive carefully.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, Chief Murray. How are
Good
you?
evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Board, this is Kyla Mahoney.
Hi.
Kyla is the board, Janice Livingston, Mr. Luca, and Christopher Hillman,
Nice to meet you.
Next victim?
next victim. So I'm here tonight to request an appointment of Kyla Mahoney to our open part-time dispatcher position. Position that works on Saturday and Sunday, the day shift, which right now we're filling with overtime. We've been trying to fill this in September when we lost our other part-timer. Kyla's a longtime resident of Pepperell, a single mom with a strong support, family support system over there. A graduate of North Middlesex Regional High School, and currently attending NHTI Community College in New Hampshire with a focus on criminal justice. Full-time dispatcher already in Shirley, working the midnight shift. She's actually working tonight. She was interviewed by Lieutenant Gill and Dispatcher Brissett. They both recommended her. She passed a background investigation conducted by Detective Barheit, and we feel she's going to be a great fit for the PD. She's already fully trained, has everything she needs. She'll just need a little knowledge of our dispatch center. Other than that, she'll be good to go. So I'd like this to be immediate, if you could.
Start immediately.
Yes, please.
You get anything? You're all set. No questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay. Comments?
I would say, definitely I would enjoy working for this town. It's local to my home.
Mm-hmm.
As it's supplement my income as a single mother.
Mhm.
And certainly I would consider a full-time position, in the future.
So you don't believe there's going to be any interference with your full-time?
And currently, no,
No.
not at all. I work overnights, and this is for the day shift on weekends.
Okay.
So, and my son's with his father on the weekends, so it's not an issue at all.
All right, good.
Okay, great.
And that is a point where we're very concerned about ourselves, and we made sure.
Yeah. Yes, Chris.
I would like to make a motion to appoint Kyla, is it Kyla?
Kyla, yes.
Kyla Mahoney to the part-time dispatcher's position effective immediately.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Welcome.
Thank you
Welcome
very
aboard.
much.
Congratulations.
Appreciate
Thank you.
When are you working? Saturday?
This
Tomorrow?
Saturday. Right. I'll let you know.
Okay. Good luck.
Okay.
Okay, presentation by Mark. Want to come up, gentlemen? Okay. Mr. Fisher and
Yeah.
Mr. Cahaley and Mr. Khan. Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, at the request of the Board of Selectmen at one of your previous meetings, as you mentioned, and just to the introductions, Mark is here this evening to make a presentation to the board and the town on some conceptual, and I want to emphasize conceptual designs for the proposed project. And Mr. Fisher will be making a formal presentation. It's about 10 to 15 minutes tops, and he asked to make the presentation and then through you, Mr. Chair, open it up to questions that folks may have on that. Finally, I should just mention, take the opportunity publicly, in addition to sort of today's meeting with the Board of Selectmen, there is a public design workshop scheduled for February 22nd at 6 o'clock here in the Great Hall to further discuss this project and get public input and so forth. So this is sort of the first step in the public process.
Mr. Fisher,
Good evening.
how are you?
My name is Very well, thank you. Stand up, I guess. So, again, so just so everybody understands, these are just concept plans, and then we haven't moved along much more than what we tasked the architectural engineering consultant to come up with some concepts, generally 3 concepts. And so that's what we'll be going through. And again, this from the public workshop on the 22nd, we'll really kind of get more input from the public and the advisory committee that was put together by the town to again kind of coalesce around what the choice of concepts is, and then come back to the board of selectmen and whatever the choice of the town and the various groups that are looking at it. Can have that input and decide which way to go. And then what comes next is then we move to that preliminary engineering, and then final design is really just more plans and drawings and specifications, and then we put it out for construction bid. But so there'll be more, significantly more input by the public, because then on preliminary design you're really putting more about what it should look like and what you're expecting out of it, and accesses and egresses and all those things. So really there'll be a lot more input to come in the future. So with that said, so does that one advance these?
Yeah.
Which one? This one?
That's ours. Yeah.
Too many devices. This is like my house.
We don't have a universal.
No. So so this actually is give you the top concept, which the architect and engineering consultants came up with. So what this comes up with is this right here. This doesn't show very well from there. Anyways, let me come up here. So what this is this is the existing DCR parking lot here, just as it sits. And what they looked at was developing the land that's over kind of next to or along the rail trail, which would involve having to relocate the rail trail, as well as developing a little bit of parking over in this parcel we're in the process of acquiring now on Park Street. And then the top shows the potentially a terrace up on top of the existing rail trail, and again that little gray area would be the ramp. And so what this represents again is one of the options is 226 parking spaces, completely all of the pieces together. One of the issues with this one is it's significantly right now over the budget that we have still available. But again, they wanted to be able to provide the concepts, and as they move into the preliminary engineering, they refine estimates and whatnot. But this one's significantly more than we have currently, at least available. Again, this is more of like the schematic plan or a kind of a layout plan. Same thing, it shows just a little more refined, the existing underneath DCR parking lot structure on top, this little terrace, which we have some conceptual shots of renderings. Again, those 2 little lots off to the side. So this would be then another concept I came up with 1A, which has just the existing DCR parking lot with some minor changes to it, again layout and lighting and all those things. But then the other 2 items would just be those other 2 lots being developed. Again, and this one over here has a very significant wall to it, which again we have some of a rendering of, but rendering by the architect. I should go back. So the first one had 226. This one right here has 149, so you basically lose about, I think it was around 77 spaces by losing the terrace. Again, this is the concept design of everything without the terrace on top. And then this is the final of the 3 concepts they came up with, and so this would just be the existing DCI parking lot with a terrace up on top of it, and then again doing basically nothing in that land that abuts the rail trail behind the Pearl Street properties, and essentially not improving this at all, or maybe some minor improvements with landscaping, maybe a sitting area, whatnot. So out of the 3, this one actually falls, they believe this one will fall within budget. Right now it's slightly over, but again they have a lot of contingency fees and the like built into that. That second one I had showed you actually was over budget as well, not as much as the first one with all of the developments there. But and so this one is 184 spaces, which so essentially you lose about 42 from the major one. Yeah. But this is actually 100 spaces more. The current lot, just a lot by itself as it sits, is 84. So this is about 100 space improvement, a little bit more than 100%. So this is kind of a rendering showing just a kind of a elevational view of what the terrace would look like. So again, the bottom down there would be the existing lot, and then this would be the ramp coming up and the terrace up above. And again, this would be that Park Street lot that we're currently in the process of acquiring. And again, they showed a grass here, but it certainly could be landscaped and benches or whatnot, made a nice area to sit in. This is a view from Groton Street, looking in towards the the DCR lot and the terrace. Again, same idea. This would not involve any adjustment of the rail trail, so the rail trail would be right where it is now.
Would that be the only entrance and exit on Groton Street Road?
Yes. Yep. Again, this is more of a view that they had give us a rendering of this. So this would be and we may include this depending on how the estimates come in. When we go to do bidding of the project, we can't put out the project unless we have an estimate that shows whatever fund we have available, that the estimate is within that range. Doesn't mean it still couldn't come in over a bid, but if it comes under, this is one of the items we're looking at. This would be the next spot we'd probably develop. And this right here, they came up with, I should have said in the other one, by itself is about 16 spaces. So again, that would be a rendering if we're able to, if we have an estimate that comes in that we can do the project, we may be able to include this as an add-on. So if the prices come in good enough, that would be able to be added into the project. So this other one shows you like a brick facade. This is so when we get to the public portion of the starting to design this would be the type of things they look at, what kind of walls, what kind of treatments you have to that brick. The next one shows this is like a metal panel, which along the ideas of what we have in Leominster, that is more of a solid panel. These are more of a strip panel, but again, these are all things you'd come up with during the running the design phase. Again, this is more of a stainless steel and cable design. But again, these are just all different potential options of what you might put up there if this is the route that the town decides to go. So this shows from Park Street looking over, and again, if we were able to do this lot, this would be included to be a minor wall there, but this would show you kind of the, just a rendition of what the wall might look like and this would be looking, this would be the northern end of the DCR lot, a little further along the, towards Groton Street, and as you can see, I mean, again, they rendered it, but it's probably around 15 to 17 feet tall. Right on the property line in order to be able to get the parking and the circulation of people get in and out of there. It would be fairly close to people's property line in the backyard, so not optimal, but again, we're trying to optimize the space and give the options that are available. Again, this is a view, this is a little bit further down. I believe this is the bank parking lot, and so it'd be a little bit more southerly, headed more down towards Main Street, and the wall drops off a little bit, but it's still very significant.
Is this the 226?
This would be, yes, I guess part of the 226 design, yes. 226 would be all of it, but again, we can't do the existing lot, the terrace, and both that Park Street parcel or the other one. We don't see any way that's going to come in within the money we have available. So this, we're set to finish up here. So this is kind of across the street, just a bit of a plan view. People would just be coming in. He shows that little area, and we have a rendering of that in a second. It's that little cubed area out on Main Street. There'd be some type of treatment to that. Either it could be pressed asphalt, pressed concrete, or block or brick or something, so that it's obviously a crossing area. And you can see those two little black hash marks. We were kind of shown by the engineers. They have these things now, so rather than just have like a pedestrian crossing, you press it and the yellow light goes off. They have these things that kind of hang over the street. It's a lot more visual, and I guess they had done in Framingham. He said they could get us some pictures in the future where they just kind of, it's a big area that hangs over the street, and it's a lot more you can see it as the car coming down the road. So something like that might be there, but again, it'd be some type of pedestrian crossing with that hashed area. And then coming in there, the access point, that green strip there, would be probably 6 or 7 foot wide elevated parking, elevated sidewalk, and then a two-way travel lane. Again, coming in, circulating around, a little planted island area there, kiss and ride, drop off, potentially if van service or whatever, COA drop off, whatever, then circulate around, come back out. And then this brown area here is where the current Advocates building is. That's been approved for demolition, and that could be what they've indicated there. One of the things DCR wanted to see for the transfer of the property was some type of facilities for the rail trail users, and certainly for the commuter rails that would come in as handy. So that's one of the spots they've looked at potentially for a restroom facility. It could be across the street as well, somewhere in that, even in that undeveloped area near the rail trail. Thing is, over here, a little bit more beneficial is that there's already sewer and water infrastructure there, so it wouldn't have to, the piping would be right there. Across the street, we'd have to pipe to it and all that, so that would be some additional cost to the project. But, again, that's certainly up to the people who help us design it, whatever. And then the rest of it, could be developed into, patio area, some type of, landscape lit, seating and the like. And we've been meeting a few times with Alan, the economic development director. One of the thoughts was, I guess, in the far end of town here, coming out of the Rotary up there, you have that big metal old fountain up there, and thought I'd maybe move that back in. He's got some very neat photos of back quite some time ago, probably in the late 1800s or so. And it used to set up in the square down here, and thought was maybe that could potentially be there as a kind of a focal point to draw people in. But again, that would be just, as we're going through the various design phases with the various committees and townspeople, that whatever the people decide would be best there, that's what we'd be shooting for. And then this is just a rendering of, this is kind of the parking lot, kind of outside the mobile station. Again, you can see whatever this treatment might be here, and just a driveway going in, and no, it doesn't look that way. It's a kind of an elevated sidewalk there, probably, again, 5, 6, 7 feet wide, and then enough of a travel lane for 2 sets of cars going in. And this probably isn't keeping with today's weather, how fortuitous. So this is more of standing kind of behind the mobile station in this little turnaround area, looking over. Again, that's probably a little oversized for what the restrooms may look like, but again, that'd be kind of the area with some benching and lighting and whatnot. The fence kind of wraps around this way, goes back, and then kind of directs you into the station. And again, whatever else could be put there. Potentially a shelter. We've kind of figured that into the project. Some type of shelter. We have a very large one out of Wachusett. It's kind of a Victorian style. So there are all sorts of styles of them. So that again was there, and then there's a little planted island in here. And that's that's what Alan had spoke about. He can speak to that at some point. I guess during the discussions here, that was something that he was thinking potentially could be moved back out towards the Depot Square area and kind of just give it some historical relook.
That's where it originally was.
Yeah. so the thought was it may be able to get back to its original location. I think that was it.
You need to take a breath when you're talking. My God.
Got about another 10 minutes in there.
Is there handicap spots? Not that in that turnaround, have you allowed for some spots behind the mobile station for handicap?
No. So when we had them look at this, it really is. If you're going to try to circulate traffic through there, there's really no place to park cars, really, because any place you're going to park cars is pretty much going to take away from the ability to circulate vehicles there. And so, again, this was a rendition or a concept idea, because I think we've kind of been given the idea that they really kind of want to be able to do the kiss and ride and drop off and all that. Certainly, if there's a decision, through the committees and the town developing it or whatnot, that this may be more of appealing to have parking over there, more of a premium parking, but so it's not cast in stone.
So much about parking. I'm thinking for someone that is handicapped, or that if there was some 4 or 5 spaces maybe allotted over there that were strictly handicapped, maybe we could utilize more of that. Advocates, obviously, you're not going to make the bathrooms that big.
Yeah, so this shows you that. This is a 17 by 27 restroom, and that's what it fits on. So there's obviously a lot of room over here. Probably is from the property that was taken recently. There's not a lot of room to do anything over here, but certainly this was just an initial rendition. Again, as we refine this with all the groups that are going to help us do it, and certainly the
if it is the desire of the board or the group, the architect can accommodate.
Well, that's why I'm asking. I just think I'd hate to see the only handicap parking down on Park Street.
Yeah, it's definitely not optimal for sure. So we can certainly look at that. Again, this was just giving them the task of trying to come up with a concept, and we can certainly say, is there ability to get any in here, even though if you're over here, so you're certainly much closer to the station, and does that or maybe making the planter smaller, or maybe almost making it just a circle that provides something able to push some parking over here. So we can certainly look at that.
And do we still have to provide access to that, whatever that structure is there? Is that Pan Am, or is that?
That's actually Keolis. It's the operator for the MBTA.
They're out soon.
Yeah, not really. You don't really get a lot of answers from them about actually what that building does, but yes,
Yeah.
so Keolis, actually, it's a Keolis building.
We have an access, it included the access. They cannot park over there on that yellow,
But they can.
but
have
they
access
can
to-
go inside and
Yeah,
then
the-
they can
some-
park.
Stuff is somewhere here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's not marked on there, but.
Okay. So in my opinion, there's probably a few spaces once the building's.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you'd be able to get a lot of space in there.
No,
but
but
I'm sure we
I-
can squeeze
yeah.
up 2 or 3, or,
Yeah,
yeah,
that'd be nice.
Yeah.
we'll definitely make a note of that. And,
It's we have given the priority that, either the van goes there or people wait there to pick up the passengers or drop off the passenger so that they do not clog the main street, so off the street. And obviously, it could be a few parking, yes. But I think even if you have the parking, you have to give it a handicap.
So we'll clue
Yes.
in, so at the 22nd workshop in town here, we're gonna, we obviously, the architects and engineers will be there. So we'll already give this to them, have them, thinking around what may or may not be possible there. And, if we do parking, how much does that impact, or hopefully not eliminate, how the ability to circulate vehicles, but we'll definitely bring that to them.
So at this time, this one and the other thing, it is a little bit over, like $5.5 million. But if we bring it down, that wall part of it, the big one, if we do not do that, and we might be able to do it within 4 million or so.
Yeah, so I mean, so if we just go back here, and then certainly we want to open it up so everybody gets a chance to ask questions. So this one right here, they figure is already, I think it's around 4.2 million is the
Yeah.
current estimate, which is about, so right now we have about 3.5 million left between, there's about $500,000 already utilized between the money set aside for the consultant and the purchase of the property so far. So, and again, so built into this estimate that they already have is a significant amount of contingency which they put in there because they haven't really refined the design. So as they start to go through the design more, and we work with the townspeople of what we're trying to come up with here, those contingency fees come down in and of themselves. I mean, even after refining construction costs and whatnot, the contingency fees drop significantly. The estimate drops significantly. So, so they really figure this is ultimately doable, and potentially, this potential over here. Maybe being, again, as we put it out as a construction bid, if the estimates come in right, we could include that as an add-alt, so that 16 area parking could be there. So this 184 would actually become 200. So.
The top lot, is there any designated spaces for the rail trail?
So we haven't determined where those would be. The rail trail, essentially, they come up, I think they're looking for 10% of whatever the ultimate amount of spaces we come up with in order to do that property transfer. So, I mean, those could be wherever. I don't think they were looking, bottom floor, far end, close end, just, we have to designate some.
I had mentioned at a meeting that the lot across the street might be a good spot to have a rail trail parking.
The little lot by Dunkin' Donuts?
Oh, that, well,
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
Well, we
That
can,
way we can maximize the spaces that are.
in the other one.
Yeah.
Yep. And so.
Well, that's not a bad idea.
One thing I wanted to mention too is, so you guys have done quite a bit to already improve this, but we could potentially spend some funds under like a temporary improvement, because certainly it's not going to provide a lot during the construction, but certainly we could try to help, see if there's any way to set some additional parking here, and then this could become a supplementary parking to the project in the future, and we could also look to potentially add some type of pedestrian crossing here as well.
At a station too, pay station too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that, Bruno, the line that extends up to the back, that's the property line?
This up here?
Yes.
Yes.
That goes all the way up?
Yes, it is.
Is that anything that we could use for spaces?
Yeah, so if you're talking about this whole green area.
Yes.
Yeah, so that render here is represented in this one here.
All right.
So they use this, but so when you do that, again, it gets, that is about 28 spots
But you
there.
lose parking?
No, you gain it, so there's 28 parking up there. The only thing about it is, it does, as you look at that rendering, there's a wall, I mean, it is literally.
you have to build a wall.
It's literally
That-
almost on the property line and in people's backyard. So We just wanted to be clear that, while it does give you some additional parking, two things, it's probably over the estimate right now, and probably it's gonna be very hard to make that come in if we do the terrace concept. And again, it literally is 4 feet or 3 feet off the property line, and it's a very significant wall, and it literally is in these people's, at the end of their backyard where the property line ends, that wall sits right there. But again, we tasked the engineer with trying to, maximize the parking. What would you do if you were able to use all this? And so they came up with that.
Given, Justin, that part for the 28 parking, it is about $800 to $850,000. And then you have to build that wall with that. That is the money we are saving if we build the other part in here. And the projects become within the fiscal constraint.
Great wall there.
And again, it does involve having to kind of rejig that.
And and then the trail remains the
Which is
same.
not optimal either, but
That's the important part. The trail remains the same on that one.
Mr. Chairman, through you to Bruno, could you explain how and why the terrace concept came to be as it pertains to the Park Street property acquisition? And could you also explain what the terrace is and what it isn't?
yeah. So the terrace concept came in as we were trying to look at, how would you maximize the parking and utilize the space you have. And again, because looking at one of the things was, again, adding that piece over here, it does gain you 28 spots, but it's fairly expensive for 28 spots. You're spending almost about $32,000 a spot, which is could almost buy a spot in Boston. So what we looked at, so we're trying to maximize it, saying, would we go slightly above, vertical over the existing DCR parking lot, which again kind of maximizes the space you're already in. So what we looked at when we looked at that as well is that it also allows us the ability to, as you see this whole thing, and it may be, that one I think is just a regular lot, but, so this is, as you see, it's a little bit short of the, the full length. So what it allows you to do is as they're going through the estimates, that they still come back and say, wow, this is still gonna go exceed the 3.5 million, you can actually shorten this up to where, they figure you can get the infrastructure and to actually get within the budget. But you could still build enough infrastructure there, we've seen some little, towers or whatever it needs to support it there, so that if funding becomes available in the future, you could just add those, they basically just re-pour the deck back over. One thing it certainly wouldn't allow us to do, though, is there's no plan of having any infrastructure there for going any more vertical. This would be, the extent of it, whatever this one little deck would be, probably about 10 feet above the other one, that would be it. There wouldn't be any ability to go anywhere above that. I hope that answers the question.
If you were successful in acquiring these buildings that should be torn down on the front
The other ones?
Would that have lowered the cost ultimately, or?
But I mean, yes and no. So I mean, it lowers the cost of some of the parking, but I mean, if you're going to develop these, then probably you lose that terrace again. And if you're getting 16 here, I don't think we haven't quite estimated, but I'm guessing we're probably not going to get much more than maybe another 25 or so there, maybe a little bit more going deep. But the trouble is, it's not laid out very well. So, it's not laid out like a back out. You can back out, because they're all kind of like going to be backing into each other here. So it's not really set up for having the ability to park a lot of vehicles in there, or even back to back. So again, it could be looked at if those potentially became available in the future. Certainly, if they become available in the future, and again, we'd already have this lot, even if it was landscape, if funding becomes available in the future through other grants or whatever, we could certainly look to potentially purchase those in the future and then just do surface parking, and lay it out as best we can, but would add some additional parking, to the whole project.
And to clarify, that has been more of a price issue. It hasn't been that you haven't tried to.
Right. No, it was, so just of these, we bought one. We're in the process of purchasing one. One, they counter offered with significantly more than would be able to be paid, and one we actually never got a response. So,
lovely.
One thing though, as we were talking, and Alan brought up a very good point recently when we were meeting, is that as this gets developed and it becomes more of a commercially viable location with parking and whatnot, these may become a lot more attractive to commercial developers because it's now going to have parking in the area, a lot more traffic and foot traffic and whatnot. So it may be that those become much more attractive to commercial developers and maybe add some business to the town. Maybe parking is nice, but business is probably, I'm guessing, nicer for the tax base. So
It would just be nice to get rid of those visually, but. What about, one more question, sorry.
Yep.
The Berry property, was that looked into at all, or has that just been?
Yeah, I mean, those,
Separate?
no, we didn't look at those at all. No,
Okay.
no, those were not even way back. Originally, we were concentrating on the original three.
Yeah.
Bring back the diner.
Can that be brought closer to the property line? Does it have to be set back that much?
What's this now?
Lot itself. You see how you have it's set back, you see the property line behind the buildings that don't want to sell?
Yeah, potentially, I guess.
Okay.
Certainly haven't looked at it. Again, this was just a rendering in a concept design. As they really get into it, as we move with the public and the board of selectmen into the preliminary design, you can really refine what everything looks like and what fits and the like.
See, at this time, we're talking about whatever you want and whatever we can afford.
Yeah, no, I
And-
understand.
And then we're going to get involved more with the architect.
We want as much as we can get, and as best as we can get,
Yeah.
what we can afford.
Yeah, I mean, the two things obviously are to make it look and fit into the town.
And
but-
aesthetically.
Yeah,
pleasing.
and maximize, the parking so that, people are, I mean, I know now people are parking wherever they can get a spot, which is, kind of, I'm sure, not easy for the residents to deal with, cars parked right in front of their properties and whatnot. So again, we tried to maximize it, within the resources, and again, but make it something that fits in the town, so. And again, as we go through this process on the 22nd, and whatever, gets added to this for discussion and whatever, and then when we come back, whenever, I guess in March at some point to try to look at, approving concept, one of the concepts or whatever, then as we get into that next phase of the design and the public really, gets involved, probably have several workshops with the A&E people and all that, and then that really adds to, does it have metal panels and block or brick or whatever, so that's where we really get into the, adding things in that the townspeople and the board of selectmen are looking for.
Now, is this a pay station?
Yeah, there'd be, so what we have, what we moved to is one where basically you just put your plate in, because before it used to have to be, you'd have to get to slip and go back to the car and put it in your car, and, we had somebody searching around now. A lot of technology is they just, you punch in your plate number, and so it memorizes all the plates, and we just walk around with a little handheld camera and it reads the plate, and if the plate doesn't come up in the database, then they didn't pay, or we'll verify it, and we'll just tag it, and
And is that planned for like 5 in the morning to 6 at night, 24 hours, or what?
yeah, I mean, I think most of our lots, we go, I think we stop at 6 at night. I think we go from wherever in the morning when we open, usually 5. I think it's still 6 at night.
Is it evening?
And weekends and we're posted weekends, we do not charge at any of our.
Weekend and holidays are free, and after 6 is also free, I guess.
Which sounded very attractive to DCR because obviously a lot of their people like to use the trail on the weekends. And
Downtown, the business.
and
downtown,
The business can use it for no cost.
It's jammed.
Yep.
With the restaurants we have.
So, and when you're at them, hopefully.
Mhm.
So, yeah, so definitely that would be free on the weekends and holidays.
Brother?
Mr. Chair, through you, could I just ask Alan to just speak about sort of the economic development perspective of this?
Come on up.
Yeah, give the pointer to. No, was that you?
Administrator. And I just, forgive me for my voice, I'm suffering with some pretty bad bronchitis and flu right now. The last 2 days. But
You breathe that one?
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
No, I'll just say, it's really been, having the benefit of going through many years of files in this project, and its whole evolution is just an extraordinary saga unto itself. But it's exciting to see.
When
that,
you were in the high school, we started it.
It is to me very intriguing as an urban space designer how this is coming together. And I'll just say this: it is one of the most unique, one of a kind type sort of patterns coming together here, and just the way that where we're talking about introducing this parking platform or terrace, if you will. I've never seen anything quite like it. And I've been actually traveling about over the last few weeks at different downtowns and cities trying to see if I could find something that's, similar to it, and there really isn't, which is really great. I'll just say this. We strongly, the Office of Community and Economic Development, at this point, and the 22nd is really going to be the important thing when we all design together. But really going in this direction, folks, where we're maximizing our very limited, precious land in this downtown. When I looked at the first other concepts of going, building the surface lots, going out here further and down here, I'll just say this, from the standpoint of catalytic economic development, what builds market confidence in the downtown, what makes prospective investors say, I might want to spend some capital and do something down there. I'll tell you when it won't happen. It won't happen if word gets out, know what they're doing in downtown Ayer? What? They're building another surface lot. They're just expanding more of these surface, sprawling lots. That's going to trigger nothing. I would venture to say it could even potentially set us back in terms of new investment coming into the downtown. When you take this step and you start seeing the construction, of a high quality, well-designed, compact, placed in, structure like this is what's going to trigger market confidence. It's not just another surface lot we're building, and it shows a sophistication of urban design. I'll also say about up here, the buildings on the front, I couldn't agree with you more. Selectman Hillman, the properties that are there, they're fascinating. One of them is historic, but they have, and
Use it or lose it.
I'll tell you what, in my opinion,
That's
in
what we
25,
can later.
if you just build another sprawling surface lot on this, I don't think anything's going to really happen with those properties up on the front of this. It's not going to mean anything. It's not going to trigger anything. But if you start showing that we're constructing this very sophisticated, compact, urbanist, vertical element, I feel very confident saying you're going to start seeing folks going after these properties to acquire them, and yes, to demolish them and build new construction. And the one thing we need most desperately in this downtown here today, is not another surface parking lot. We need
Or a hair
buildings.
What do you say?
We hair salon.
We need new construction of buildings to start infilling this downtown so it can start generating more revenue, get it off the backs of the residential homeowners in town. So this is exciting. That's just where we're coming from. But again, there's still so much public design to do on the 22nd. We had a great design charrette back in November with a lot of folks. I know some of the folks are here, and I think a lot of that we'll be able to weave into the process on the 22nd. And it's just exciting to see us also talking about Depot Square. Ayer once had a square. We had a town square, like all New England towns have, that was the focal point of our community. This was it. It's lost. So this is the first step, folks, believe it or not, at bringing back a place where people can gather, can interact, can linger, spend time. It would be great to see the fountain come back home. It would be great to commission some new public art here, and it start being a place where people say, oh, you're going to downtown near the street? Yeah, where should we? Let's meet down at the fountain at the square. And you'll start seeing this generating business activity and reinvestment here. Someday, well, no, I won't go that far. Okay, I'll stop right there. So anyway, it's good urbanist design, and this is really, in our opinion, from the Office of Community Development, this is how Ayer has to do it. And I'm intrigued with the fact that Ayer culturally is very concerned about verticality and mass and bulk in this downtown. The great advantage of this downtown, it's very human scaled. You can walk from one end of this downtown to the other in 4 minutes, no matter where you are, okay? But look at historic photographs of this downtown. We have had 4-story buildings in this downtown since the 1880s and 90s, okay? You had to, so let's not be afraid of verticality, but let's do what we're doing now. Design it really well so that it fits in
I like that.
in Ayer and nowhere
That
but
was
Ayer.
nice.
And even the brick finishes, and it's important, the material selection, because it speaks to our culture and the materials used. And one thing that intrigues me, right down just about, 200 feet from there, which is where our Napa store is on Park Street. Behind that is the first and oldest brick structure in Groton, in the ancient town of Groton, which is the John Park House. So how appropriate that brick is the appropriate thing for us, because we have the oldest brick buildings in the entire mother town. So if nothing else, Ayer is brick, deep into our heritage and culture. So, but it's just one a design approach. 22nd is going to be great, but think traditional, compact, vertical, and let's start building buildings downtown when there's parking and all this. The Renaissance is ready to launch. So, there we go.
Thanks.
I'm sorry, I think it's the medication.
No, no problem.
It's very too much NyQuil.
Bruno, is there any estimate on how much over that first design?
So the first design, the one that shows, so you have a DCR lot with the park structure, and the other two is upwards of about 7 million. So it's about double what we have available. And again, with contingencies that'll come down, but
There's no contingency that's gonna bring it down to 4.
yeah, you're right. I mean, no matter how you refine that and take the you zero out the contingencies and refine it down, it's still probably in the 5 million plus range. So it just, to get all of them is just probably not there.
Now, when I went to the last MPO meeting, they said there was $1 million that could be used for ready projects. But I don't know if that has to do, I don't know.
Just for transportation,
Okay.
Oh, those are highway
Okay.
projects.
All right.
highways.
All right,
Highway,
thanks.
road improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, road improvement. No?
I think that'd be a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, I don't see that as a viable option, just because when you get into footings and walls and setbacks, it could be. But there's no reason it couldn't be developed.
It's it's in the
Sure.
future, yes.
Right.
The wall is going to create an artificial barrier with the people on the other side, and that might be an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really show it there, but literally is the property line is right in these people's backyards, and it literally is almost on the property line. So it's very in their backyard,
It'll be graffiti real fast.
likely.
Hey, anybody have any questions? State your name, where you live.
My name is Pat Diamond. I live at 35 Quail Run. I'm a concerned citizen, and I'm also a member of ADSOC. A couple comments. It's interesting. It's nice to see that there's something coming from it after a generation. I would like to comment, however, that the public has suffered dearly from a lack of information. We've yet to see the grant. Today I discovered that this grant is part of the FTA MAP 21, which was issued October 1st, 2012, which has an expiration date. It's got all sorts, it's actually got 68 subsections. And I promise you I didn't read them all today.
No, I think you're looking at the grant requirements. This grant was issued in 1988. This is the oldest grant in America.
But the grant is under the governance of MAP 21.
Oh, any grant is now under MAP 21.
Yes.
but-
So in there are very interesting codicils that allow for purchasing of things that are above what's called fair market value. And I want to make sure that those get explored, if they haven't been already. One thing I didn't hear anything about, and I hope on the 22nd we hear it, is something to do with the traffic surge, both vehicular and foot. There's going to be a lot of traffic because of this, that's a good thing, yeah. But if you don't manage the traffic surge, both feet and cars, you're going to have a nightmare.
Yeah, so thank you for asking the question. So one of the things that Weston and Sampson is the engineering company, and they have an architect with them. One of the things they've actually done, and we'll tell them to bring it on the 22nd, is they've actually done, they did a day or two of traffic collection, and they've done some analysis of it about the flow on Main Street, because one thing we told them was definitely the town is completely against any type of traffic light, and those are really expensive, so that would definitely throw the project cost off again. So certainly some pedestrian crossing type of thing is much more reasonable, but they did that so they could figure out foot flow of traffic, traffic flow up in Main Street. I think they also did, if I'm correct, I think they did the intersection of Park and Main as well. I don't know if they went any further out Park, but I think they did that lower portion of Park near Main Street, and they certainly did Main Street, I think, between the Town Hall and Park Street. So we'll definitely have them bring some of that along with them, and, you know, because you're right, you're adding, even coming out on the Groton Road, you're adding probably double what's there now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a problem.
Yeah.
Well, if it's not managed properly, it's.
Right, well, no, true.
I mean, it's a misconception, that lot is full every day, along with every single street.
Side street.
Is still creating traffic issues.
Yeah, so that's probably a good point, Mr. Hillman, is that, you're right, I mean, so you're gonna have 184 cars, where now you have 84, but you're right, you probably have 100 of those cars maybe on all the streets inside, so they may not be coming out of the same lot, but they're probably circulating in the same area. So, but certainly we'll make sure that's part of the 22nd discussion.
Yeah, that's kind of my concern too. I mean, I go that way every day.
Yeah.
Both back and forth, and I see it. And 5:30, it's horrible.
Yeah.
You know, and it backs up to the circle sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Chair, just to add also real quickly, and not for tonight, but as the board's aware, you commissioned that whole comprehensive downtown parking study.
Yep.
I know that the superintendent is planning to bring the preliminary findings to the first March meeting.
Good.
In other words, that does take this into account, but
Yep.
looks at the whole downtown parking issue.
Jane?
Yes, my name is Jane Morris, and I live on Pleasant Street in Ayer. And I just have a question about upgrading. Are they going to upgrade sidewalks and things to accommodate, and it kind of dovetails with what you were saying, increase pedestrian traffic, because walking down Park Street and crossing Main Street is a real trip. It's a real hazard.
That's DOT, right? I mean, that wouldn't be.
Probably not. So I mean, because really the rail trail is, I mean, we wouldn't be touching the rail trail, which is that, you know, section that comes off of the kind of corner over there and goes up. We wouldn't be touching any of that.
We're talking Park Street from Groton Street to Main Street.
Didn't we just speak with Mark about that? Isn't he trying to get some work done with the sidewalks?
Further down.
Okay.
So I guess in answer to your question, probably not as part of this project. We weren't looking at that, but
Because
certainly
it's
the,
important, because people are parking and then they have to get to the train or they have to get to wherever they're going.
Right.
And that means that you have to have a passable walkway. And, you know, you have to be able to accommodate.
There's going to be.
all
you
their-
know what, I think one thing-
That part is taken care of.
You know, I think one
After
thing
you park, you can come to the train,
I
and
think
there
one
will be
thing
a
we
traffic
were looking to
light.
do here, is it Jane?
Right here.
Jane, yes.
So, one thing we were looking to do back here somewhere. So looking at this one here, why don't we just go to the grassed-in one? That'll be a little easier. So, come on. So what we could do here, so this is that lot we're purchasing here. And so one thing we could do, and again, we just had them grass it in, so because we just don't know what we'll be doing, but landscaping and benches and whatnot. There certainly could be, and we're gonna try to do some type of, the same, whatever we do on Main Street with some type of pedestrian crossing, we're gonna try to do the same thing between that lot over here on the other side of Park Street. So people can cross here, is we could make a connection, you know, probably a wide walkway through there that actually connects across into the rail trail so people could walk up the other side, so you wouldn't have to walk down Park Street, because you're right, there's really not, that's not a good section there. But you could cross through that landscaped area and get into the rail trail that way, so you can walk that way instead of walking down Park and up Main. So,
Yeah, but it's really important that that walkway be passable, not just for people who are, you know, nimble and quick,
Right.
but also for people who are elderly or maybe
Or
in
disabled,
wheelchairs
yes.
or whatever. And one of the things about Ayer, you start looking at it from that standpoint, we've got a lot of challenges for people who are, you know, challenged in their ambulatory situations.
That's why we talked about adding some spaces closer to the facility.
Right, and this wouldn't be, what Jane talks about wouldn't be the purview of this project.
right.
Right.
But again, we could try to make some access across this, so at least it's not having to walk down Park Street with no, but I agree that in the future, that certainly could be something that MRPC uses the MPO meetings.
And you
Some
know,
of that highway money.
yeah, and again, you know, talking to Alan and
Bring it up.
stimulating the growth of business in that area is really dependent on good access for pedestrians, because you want to be able to go from store to store to store in a comfortable way. That's, you know, you're not going to be twisting your ankles.
Yeah. Jane, I think I agree with you 100%, but I think you're confusing, that's a state highway. And obviously we want Park Street paved redone sidewalks. I mean, we've been talking about that. I think there was some tip money for that a while back, and but that wouldn't fall under the purview of Mark to fix the sidewalks on Park Street. As
Yeah.
much as I would love that
Right,
we had
but
the money
if
to
we're
do it.
building a parking garage, we don't want it to be an island and then have people park and say, okay, now, how are we gonna get to the drain?
No, I'm gonna take
There's a
the,
walkway that's gonna be.
Yeah.
part
Yeah,
of
so
it.
that-
Walkway there.
from there all the way to the train station.
So here, that's probably not a good one because this is hoppy. So so again, if we do some type of thing where people could cross here, or as they're coming, wherever they're coming from, we could, again, it's gonna be landscaped and seats or whatever, but we could make a walkway that comes all the way up to here, along the side here, and makes its way to the rail trail, and then people can just use the rail trail to get across the street, rather than, like you said, having to walk along, Park Street with no sidewalk. So we can certainly look into that, again, a sidewalk across, or some type of pedestrian walkway across that parking.
They would all funnel out on Main Street across that
Yes.
strip.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
And then that
Yeah,
green
because if you,
portion-
That green is a
that
walkway.
little train or trapezoid or whatever over the
Oh, I
corner of
see.
that, that's where that rail trail comes out. West Street right here.
Bruno, show the green part of that. That is the walkway.
Well, this is the walkway on the Depot Square side.
Yeah,
But
from
she's talking
there.
about- she's talking
No,
about across the street.
Right.
no,
well,
she's
what
talking
she's
about
saying is
coming.
Once you come out of the rail trail,
Yep.
okay, you're by Lagos,
Yep.
and you go to come across the street on Main Street.
Go back, yeah.
This light green,
Is
if
the-
you come across Main Street, this light green area is where you
Yeah,
would be
that's
walking.
an elevated
Okay.
sidewalk,
I
correct.
didn't realize.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that, I didn't make that clear maybe.
Not only walking, even the wheelchair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It'll probably be
Yeah, 'cause
six or
it'll have a
7 feet wide.
slight elevation, and it looks like it'll have, like that little slope.
Yeah.
So that a wheelchair
Yeah,
can
there'll be-
get up. And from the picture, it looked like it'd be just a slight
Yeah.
elevation.
Yeah, so here there'd be a little slope to get up it, and then this is probably just maybe 6 inches high, and then it's an elevated sidewalk, probably 6 or 7 feet wide, all the way, as they showed down.
That white area over
all
there.
the way down to the end here, so people can come into the patio and get to the tracks.
And that's all has to meet ADA.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Most assuredly.
Okay, thank you.
Dennis Curran, state your name and where you live.
Dennis Curran, Pleasant Street. As currently envisioned, how high above Park Street would the terrace be? That is, if you were to stand on Park Street looking towards it, how high above it would?
So off of Park Street, so Park Street's kind of below the grade of the DCR lot. I know it's about the bottom of the terrace. If you're inside the DCR lot, just because I know that one. If you're inside, you're on the DCR lot. The bottom of the terrace is probably about 8 feet, and the top is probably about 8 or 9 feet above that, give or take. So Park Street, wherever Park Street is, so Park Street actually slopes down away from, so the bottom, where Park Street is, the elevation is different than what the DCR lot is. I'm not sure exactly what that, maybe a
Is-
5-foot
is-
elevation, 6,
In
maybe.
different spots, yeah.
Yeah.
It slopes down about 2 feet.
We'll bring that to have them talk about that
On the 22nd.
Yeah.
But right now, on the DCL lot, it is gonna be roughly within 10 feet.
Yeah.
No more than 10 feet, I guess.
Anybody else? State your name and address.
Ellen Fitzpatrick, Autumn Ridge Drive. I have a couple of questions. One relates to the parking area and one relates to the Depot Square area. You talked a little bit about vertical length. Am I correct that this terrace or whatever it is only 1 story
Yeah.
above the park? Okay.
Yes, and again, just to be clear, there's no ability for us in this project to even put infrastructure in place to build on top of it, so this would be.
Why is that?
It. Because that adds quite a bit, because you have to start adding steel and concrete,
Need a foundation
concrete columns and
and
whatnot,
So
so.
even for future possibilities, and what is the average parking in many of the other towns? Because we are one of the
I mean, as far as cost.
parking when you all do spots,
Like
when you all
Acton,
build parking areas
Southampton.
in Littleton, or how many spots do you normally?
I mean, you're talking about the number of spots?
Yeah.
It really depends on what you were, like in Leominster, I mean, we had a very long, clean lot, and we ended up going vertical 3.5 stories. So, so we obviously got a little more parking in a limited area, but it really depends on what area you're developing. In this case, I mean, if you go back to it, this is a little bit constrained like Leominster only because it's not really wide, so you can't, get any, like a double set of parking on it. So really, they're all different. I mean, Wachusett is different because it's an entire surface lot, so.
I think we have some in Pittsburgh. We have a garage that has about 400 car parking in
Yeah, but it's huge.
4th floor.
It's huge. Yeah.
So it really depends on what you're developing.
I'm sorry. My question is, it seems like that's an ideal location for it without the terraces, because I'm a long time commuter, so I'm familiar with it, and I used to work for DCR. So you've got the ideal location there. I'm not saying to build a 4-story thing that I've heard is
No.
not attractive.
Not as part of this
But
project.
to even be prepared to do a second level on top of the one that you're building now, even in the future, is not an option.
Only because you're going to be spending money now on whether it's steel or the concrete pillars and all that to build it, and so that takes away from what you're able to build. So then to build, so you could potentially add on to it in the future, you're probably going to end up with not putting much of the terrace on at all, because it gets very costly when you start putting steel and all that in there. So I mean, again, that'd be a whole different way to go, but probably really detract from the parking, because you'll be building for infrastructure for the future, but not for the parking.
And assuming that the building codes don't change in 10 years and you've built something that's not adequate in 10 or 12
That's a
years.
very important point, yeah.
In terms of the Depot Square, I completely agree with Coleman about the need for handicap parking. We always had people on the train that were there on crutches, or there was a blind woman who used it regularly, there was some elderly. And I think it's really pretty essential that you have preferably at least 3 or more spots as close as you can in that round area for those people to park. The other thing I found over the years, every time you come in, there are people in the morning. It's not just a kiss and drop off or whatever you call it type of thing, particularly in cold weather and inclement weather, because there is so little shelter there, unlike some of the other areas where you can just stand there and wait until the train comes. So people do tend to just hover around there with people in their car before they get out, and they do the same thing when they're arriving to pick up people. They basically sit there for 20, 30 minutes, and if the train's late, later than that. So my concern on the drive, is it only a 2-lane drive down and through?
Yeah.
Because it seems that you're going to have the people backed up there to park, and you're going to end up with huge backups of people if you probably don't have room for this, but I'm saying for a minimum of 3 lanes. But I see a huge congestion.
There's definitely not enough room for. I mean, this was pretty much the property that was acquired by the town. That was pretty much even getting rid of the sidewalk doesn't really get you an extra lane. So it's like, and certainly you don't want to get rid of the sidewalk. I'm not implying that. So you get the sidewalk, and literally there's 2. I think there are 2 10-foot travel lanes. So
well, in that case, I would certainly hope that you would build into your plan some kind of a significant shelter area, because right now, the only sheltered area they are, which is a big roof over a little bench, is on the opposite side when the morning train comes in the direction.
So we and so I think when I was talking about it earlier, so I mean, again, this is just they conceptually threw a bathroom in there, but this is probably just looks like it takes.
You
up
see
most
the
of
train
space.
on the back side of it.
So there would be a bathroom either here, and again, it could be across the street, but that involves piping to the infrastructure. But there could be a bathroom facility over here, or potentially even the bathroom facility and maybe a waiting area attached to that, or again shelters. And I don't know if you. Down in Boston, they have shelters that are, they have a little infrared heating in them, so it's a little, but you don't want to probably.
Definitely cut down on, I think, the number of.
Well, I think the 22nd meeting is that we need those kind of an input.
Just isn't some of this under the purview of the MBTA? I mean, we're going to give them bathrooms. I mean, what are they doing for us? Maybe once in a while.
Well, well, the MBTA is not really involved in this one. I mean, certainly, I know you guys are interested in the future in upgrading the station, because certainly, I mean, it's, you can have, obviously, it's handicap access to get in there, and then you have no handicap access to the train, but, yeah, I mean, so certainly, I mean, I think, there's been talk by both the ATSAC group and the town to try to, keep on approaching the MBTA about improving the station, and, if they improve the station, now it involves, long platforms and full height, full length, and 800 feet and all that, but, those are in probably about the $20 million range to do that. But certainly, I mean,
the reason I ask is when we had one of our frostbitten tours out there with the MBTA, they did say that this was one of the easiest platforms to upgrade. And obviously, them in the conversation about what we built here. And let's say that in 5 years they fund a new platform, and it's 70 feet to the right or the left. I mean, we want to make sure we're doing things correctly. Do you understand?
Yeah. You want, so I mean, so where you want to probably locate that away from the the edge here. So the further you get away from the tracks.
Well, as much as I don't want to even be in the same room with them, I think they need to be in the conversation about at least some ideas on the platform.
Certainly.
And so we don't do something that's
I mean, I think what they probably say is, so in the future, if you're in their way, it's going to be like, so if you want the improvement, that building or whatever may have to go, or whatever. So, but certainly we can talk with them about, if you would have, and George, we have actually got some information about, in our own area, even though we built these mini highs, they're the same width, they're just not the same length and height. We could certainly, but, talk to them and say, if you were to upgrade the station, whereabouts would that be, and what would you be taking for, area to put your platforms onto, and your
I think it is positive from that viewpoint, because we are taking down the existing building.
Mm-hmm.
So we have, the only thing we're talking about is a bathroom. And a shelter is a movable.
it's not going to be like a permanent
This
house.
lady is talking about is a movable shelter.
Yeah, but you put a shelter on the. Don't you have to cross the tracks to get to?
There is one.
You currently do have to cross the tracks.
So if you're in a shelter and the train comes, what do you do?
You have to go to the appropriate shelter, coming back on this side and going to the other side.
They don't open the door on both sides because the platform. So the shelter is kind of. So unless you're.
I know.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean,
parts of the day they do open on the other side, but at rush hour, both morning and evening, they open on the other.
And that's why I said the MBTA being involved.
So,
we built a shelter, which is great. But if you're reading the newspaper and the train shows up, you miss the train because you're.
No, there is a signal, so you know where to go. But she might be right that the train comes both lines sometimes.
It does. Yeah, I'm right.
So we can definitely.
We will work with the MBTA.
Robbie?
I was just going to say, Mr. Chair, and I know that Selectman Hillman will remember this, that the MBTA is already in the discussion on that, because when we were out there, it was conveyed to them that conceptually, the town of Ayer is making a $4 million investment, and that we understand that the long-term goal is further MBTA improvements to the platform, but in the interim, the expectation would be, and this was conveyed to Mr. Boyle at the MBTA, that they would make also some interim improvements, including shelter and so forth, at this location. Of course, they're waiting for us as far as what the plan's going to be, but I would say that the MBTA intends to do some interim improvements to match the
and they can
investment.
be talked about maybe potentially putting another shelter, similar
Right.
shelter on the opposite side. So you're right, you're not waiting in if you do happen to miss the
And
signal.
we've talked to them, and Alan's talked to them about this, and also about cleaning up that whole area. I mean, not to get off topic, but as we're investing in this, all that, it's become like a rail junkyard across the way there.
Dennis, I'm going to go to Mr. Gibbons.
Tom Gibbons, 21 Park Street. So I'm very surprised to see the garage concept is back, because 6 or 7 years ago, the board, different board members, but made it very clear that we were not talking about a garage there. That version where you have the extra parking up on the easterly side that includes the wall. Does does that also include the garage, or is that also?
No, so,
that would
no,
be
so,
surface.
so we, essentially, they come back and said, this here is no terrace, that's just the existing lot, essentially maybe restriped to get a few more spaces out of it. And then building, something over here in this undeveloped area, again with that wall that we show the rendering of, and then doing something over here. And this gets you about, I think it was 149 spaces. So about probably, it's 149, about 35 spaces less than just the DC art lot with the terrace, so it gets a few less spaces. But this is probably still going to be pretty close to exceeding the estimate, exceeding the available funds. But it certainly, I mean, when we meet on the 22nd and people have all their input and everything's brought back to the Board of Selectmen and people have their discussion that night, what goes.
And I think we shouldn't forget, and I can't remember all the points from 6 or 7 years ago, but it was a hot topic here in town. And it came out that pretty much most people, I believe, were against the garage, and there was not going to be a garage there. And now we're talking about a garage.
No, we are not talking about
a garage.
Yeah.
But,
I think,
I mean, more than at least 6 stories too. I mean,
it's an all.
you go from surface to a 2-story garage to, and I know you're saying that there won't be infrastructure there for more, but 6 years ago there was no garage, and now there is a garage. So, and one of the biggest concerns I remember back then that I expressed and that other people expressed was security. It's a place in a night like tonight where people, maybe homeless people or whatever, might congregate there. And what type of security do you have in a structure like that?
I mean, that's all part of what has to be planned out.
Is that any different than the vacant buildings that are there, or the bathrooms we're going to add?
Well, nobody's broken into those vacant buildings. I agree, they're unsightly, but nobody's broken.
But I mean, is it any different? Why wouldn't they go there?
Sure.
I'm not trying to argue with it. I'm just saying, if you got the bathrooms, which is my concern too. Is you put bathrooms there, who maintains them? Is it up to the police department to check them every hour? I mean, it could become an issue.
Well, no, but the discussion was a surface lot allows a cruiser to pull in and quickly see whether there's anything going on. Plus, it doesn't give you, shelter from the weather. And so on a, structure like that, you've got those little crevices that people can hang out in. I mean, it was an issue. I think it is an issue. I was in town today, and you look at the old structures there. A new structure looks good. 6, 7 years after having, salt and snow, they don't look so good. So that's a concern for me, being right at 21 Park Street.
You need to bring that up on the 22nd.
I will. Thank you.
Janice?
Well, first, I agree because we have said surface parking lot. So I personally was a little surprised bringing this. So what I would like to ask, because I need a different visual than what you gave him. So could you go back to, okay, so, all right, so looking at a terrace, all right, and trying to figure like how high it is. So we're talking 2 levels. When I'm looking at some of these buildings, some of the taller buildings, in comparison to them, I'm trying to get a visual. Maybe somebody else would help this visual. And then the second thing I would want to know, as far as the terrace, how tall of a vehicle would be able to go under there? Are you talking just a normal pickup truck? Are you talking, a big dump truck, something,
It's not going to be higher than this room. This is the maximum.
So this would be the lower level? This room?
That's the only level.
This is the only level. We have only one level.
You have a terrace.
We have a surface.
And the top.
Right. So you have the surface is the bottom.
Yeah.
And the terrace is the top.
This is the highest. Maximum.
This is the height of both of them?
Yes.
Because the surface lot is going to stay where it is.
This is the existing lot.
So if you call the surface lot, the thing underneath is 0, just say that's the 0 sea level, I guess. Then the top of that, this deck up here would probably be less than 10 feet.
Okay.
Because Janice, picture a parking garage in Boston. You go to Celtics or something. You go in and you're like, "Am I going to fit here?"
Okay.
It's
okay.
a minimal, 6 inches above the top of the nest.
All right. Okay. And if we did the other design,
which is
so the other problem with this design is that these people living here have got a big ugly wall.
Right.
I mean, and just I've been trying to be clear about it. Literally on the property line. I mean, it would be in their backyard.
I gotta go to someone who hasn't asked the questions. Harry Zane, your name and address, please?
Harry Zane, 32 Wright Road. Why are we even calling it a terrace? It really isn't. The terrace is something that has solid ground under it. We're talking about deck.
Call it a deck.
Call it a
You
deck.
can call it a deck. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so it is a second story. I mean, it seems like it's a semantic thing here.
Oh, no, a deck, yeah, okay.
It's a
That's
second
fine.
floor deck.
Yes,
Yeah, calling it a terrace is misleading, I think.
okay, deck.
No deck.
Two things. One, there was a rendering of traffic coming onto Park Street in one of the pictures. I live on Pleasant Street near where Groton Road comes up. No,
Yep.
that's the Groton Street exit, but there you go.
Oh,
That's what
So-
that small
oh, there was a,
lot-
if we were able to do something with the lot in the future, yeah.
Oh, that's
rendering.
that's for the lot.
14.
So that's that Park Street lot that we're still in the process of acquiring. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing was I am with the retaining wall and the cost associated with that and the price per space. I mean, I would be concerned that spending $30,000 per space would kind of skew what you're trying to accomplish, in terms of dollars per space. It doesn't seem particularly wise, and I'm also not clear as to what the abutters might think about the wall here, so.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why we've been trying to say, how close it is to property line, so it's, I mean, we certainly can try to get more information out on the 22nd as we're all meeting, whatever, but it is on the property line. The engineer said, this is like, there's no setback, so it's literally like there.
And we're talking an extra $2.5 to $3 million to do it there, just to make that little lot and that wall, correct?
Well, I mean,
It's
it's,
about $1.25 million or so.
yeah, it's about $1.25 million probably in the wall,
On
and
top
development
of-
of it and
of the
everything.
wall.
Yeah, I mean, the wall's very expensive. and
No,
we
I
can
agree,
reinforce
I'm
it,
just
so-
saying, I'm just trying to
Yeah,
get that out there.
right.
for
I mean,
public.
it comes at the expense of other
Yes,
items, so.
and we all know nothing comes in the budget.
No, and just, one thing I guess I wanted to say earlier is that, this grant, is now very old. I mean, it was, it was early in Ayer, Littleton years ago, and it got transferred over to Ayer, many years ago, and it's still, with all the machinations that it took to get here. I mean, so what it would have purchased, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago,
I've been
certainly.
saying that for a long time.
Yeah, the value is, continues to drop. So, so what it would have bought in 10 or, 2000 is different than what it buys now, so.
Right. Tom?
The idea of the restroom, although it's great when you need one, and it certainly would be convenient where you have the bike trail there. But the ones that were built when the rail trail was first done, they were green restrooms that I think were only open for about 6 months and then sat padlocked for years. What, do you think this is going to be different? The restrooms will be secure and clean?
We can bring a rendering. So Georgia has been looking online. There's tons of them that are like you can buy prefabbed, and they actually do that. A lot of the DCR camping areas around the state or whatever, they literally take them and they crane them and set them in place, depending on the size you're buying or whatever. But yeah, you can bring some of the renditions of what those look like too. Thought, again, it certainly is, security-wise, the town can talk about, would they close after 6 or after 8 or 9 or, what time they come on in the morning. So, yeah, I mean, that's all part of the discussion as on the 22nd as to what you do and how you maintain it.
This will be included in the normal collection of the fare, or the $3 that you're going to be collecting. Those will be used for maintenance of the property and security of the property. So either the town does it, the money goes to the town, or we hire somebody, but it will be maintained. That part is all right.
Jim?
Well, I guess that is something to think about as far as the bathroom, because I think that there's pros and cons to it. So I guess one maybe should ask themselves, we haven't had a bathroom there all this time. Do we need the bathroom, or do we just need like some type of a shelter to be able to sit, wait for the train?
Mr. Chairman, just a point of information. One of the terms, the condition for the transfer of the DCR lot from the Commonwealth to the town, the state is requiring the bathroom for the transfer.
Let's solve that.
Isn't that amazing? Because the MBTA can do Littleton without bathrooms, but we have to get.
Well, so but I think what their piece of it is they're looking at is part of their amenities for the rail trail users. So in order to transfer the land, they want to make sure they kind of get, I guess, something out of it.
Connie?
Connie Sullivan, 79 East Main Street. I would hope that a design for these bathrooms could also incorporate some commercial space that could be rented, whether it's a restaurant or a coffee shop, and perhaps the agreement with whoever the lessee would be of that space would be that they would maintain the bathrooms. Rather than just putting bathrooms, why not make some economic use of the space as well?
So just, if I could just.
And you could have a glass waiting area that almost encompasses the
Yeah,
outside.
so one thing about it is that that's currently not in the plan, at least as far as from a cost standpoint and an engineering standpoint, that isn't included in your contract and probably couldn't be afforded. But one thing I wanted to throw out, and this is just so I can throw out there, because I think it, when I wake up at 3, I just think about these things. So I was thinking that, again, you've scheduled or at least approved the demolition of that building across the street. One thought is that, it is an existing building, so, if it didn't get torn down, then some money potentially could be put, and again, not a lot of money like, a complete rebuild or whatever, but potentially there could be a use of that as, a bathroom area with some type of, a little coffee shop maybe, glassed in, so like you said, so people are actually, you can see through to the other side or whatever. But again, I'm just throwing it out there as, I know it was purchased by the town and has been approved for demolition, just throwing out there that, that not tearing it down it has some options too, but, and that can be discussed in 20 seconds. I just want to throw it out there as.
Where do you park?
And create
No, right, I mean, so you have a thing,
It's one or the other, I think you could.
Yeah, no, again, I'm just throwing it out there as just so people can think of all the things that they want to talk about in the 20
We have to
seconds.
keep in mind too that this encompasses completely closing off Mr. Berry's property from any access to this station. Am I correct?
No.
No, he's
No.
still under.
No, we will have our fence, from Barry's property, people can go into the station because there's a MBTA has the easement.
Yeah.
Still.
Okay.
Right, so this fence will come here and pretty much, wherever, somewhere in here and
I
stop.
see. Similar to what the temporary fence.
It's on the other side of the other.
Yeah, so the other side of this is with the Berry
yeah.
property on the other side of the fence, and there's still an
All right, I'm
easement.
thinking back to when we were in still cordial talks to change things there.
The MBTA still has an easement that
Yeah.
crosses that property for commuters to pass and
Okay.
repass. So-
Dennis?
I guess I lost a little track of the conversation. Are you envisioning bathrooms both at the station
No.
near where they end at the foot of the rail trail, or just
No,
one place or
one
the
or
other?
the other. The only thing we said here was because there's already infrastructure there. On the other side, you'd have to find a way, because I think if I'm correct, those are just, environmental
Yeah.
bathrooms. Yeah, so,
If it's one place or the other, it would seem to me that at the station near the Advocates Building, around that would make more sense than on the other side of the, if it has to be one.
and it's a little more.
It is one.
I agree. And you have the plumbing, you have the sewer, you have everything there.
Yeah, it's more in the open.
You also have the gas station, which is open 24 hours right
Yeah.
there.
The
Anyway,
visibility, better lit,
Yeah.
yeah.
Kathy?
Kathleen O'Connor, Mandy Ryan. My question for you, when you come on the 22nd, will you be bringing renderings and cost estimates for each of these plans that can be discussed? Because I think one of the things that will happen in the public hearing is people will say, well, we could do this and this and this. And it'd be really good if you had calculations so that we could sit down and
As
say,
to what that looks like, yeah.
it's so far out of the budget, it's not even possible.
sure.
This is what's achievable.
Yep. Absolutely.
I think we will try to get some unit cost for each module, so you can put one or two together and can decide what is the best.
Yeah, and the engineers and the designers will be there, so they can certainly speak,
And they will be there.
And exact measurements as well, so if you're talking
We don't
about
have
a
ordering.
deck, people have an understanding of this is what it looks like today.
Yep.
This is what it'll look like when it's built,
Heights
and this is
and-
how high it will be when the cars are sitting on top of it.
Yep, sure. Yep, absolutely.
Harry?
If these bathrooms are not maintained, the entity that will hear about it is the town of Ayer. Who is going to maintain them?
I mean, I don't think we've decided that yet, but we want to come to an agreement with the town, so whether, Mark pays to maintain them, or the town maintains them, and we reimburse the town, through the parking fares.
The answer to
That's why I
that
didn't want
question,
that.
it will be maintained. But how it will be maintained, we do not know, because we have the money to maintain that.
So it could be locally and just reimbursement to the town.
And that is not a part of the contract, it's not a capital cost. It is an operational
Down
cost.
the road, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
But certainly something to be thought about for the future, yes.
Normally, the parking revenue is used for that purpose.
Tom, one more, that's it. We got work to do.
Is there any plans for 2-hour free parking in anywhere in the, on the lot? Temporary, right now I believe there's some temporary, is it temporary parking, 2-hour parking, rail trail?
Rail trail parking.
No, the parking will be primarily priority for the commuters. So we cannot allow the free parking. Commuters park, and then up to after 6 p.m. anybody can park, depending on if you have an available space.
I think if there's still time, there ought to be some consideration to a number of spots that are 1 or 2 hour parking for during the day. If we're talking about helping the businesses downtown, there ought to be some spots that they can use during the day.
I think this will free up a lot of spots too,
Yeah.
Tom. There's a lot of people that, you know, George.
There will be free parking only for the rail trail user.
Right.
There is a 10%, but there's a special
Right.
requirement from the.
All right, so everybody get their questions together, the 22nd, 6 o'clock, right around the corner. And,
Are we hosting that meeting? Is that, are we calling that, is that our meeting?
yeah.
One
Bruno will be here.
with a clip.
Yeah,
we don't
and,
take
you know, I was
that.
gonna say, if you want to have, and again, we'll try to write these things down and research them before we get there, but if you want to submit any questions to like through Carly or whoever, and so we can be researching any additional things and stuff before the 22nd, we're a little bit more prepared to talk about any new items you come up with, just let us know, and we'll try to research them before we get here. I think,
Do we have it?
as long as you get Carly.
Somebody needs to be.
Carly.
Yeah.
Carly.
Right here.
So if you can email them to Carly or drop them off to Carly and Carly can get them to us, we'll work on getting you.
She's the boss.
Okay.
Thank you.
Pretty slick out there.
I just want to say, I think it's wonderful that you go along with this stage. I'm really happy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So positive.
Yeah, finally. Yeah.
I guess we'll see you in a couple weeks. I'll be nicely tan going on work next week.
Bruno, nice.
Oh, no.
We'll put that on the town.
Thank you, and say.
Nice seeing you.
Bruno, nice to see you. Bruce, stay away from any boats.
Yeah. Well, I'm going down to Myrtle Beach next week, but I'm not getting any boats. No, just with my wife and a couple of friends. I'm gonna sit on the ocean and do nothing.
Beautiful.
Hopefully burn.
I think because of the cost, because we are building on top of it. The reason we are coming with that is going to be forces we can do it. It's not a
Thanks, Bruno.
That's what it is. I know. Now we can it's going to be over time of the money.
I believe. My biggest concern is
Look forward to seeing you on the 22nd. I put this light on. I put one lights on. Both up, sir.
Thank you, Mohammed. Drive safe. See you.
I hope we were able to provide the answers.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll see you. Thank you.
You are
Bruno, can you just, obviously, between now and next week, maybe see what we can do about some, at least a few handicap spots over in that?
Yep.
Somewhere, just to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 4, probably 5.
Yep. Sure.
All right. That'd be great.
This is like a couple of
Why are they here?
Well, see you. Thank you,
See you on the
sir.
22nd. Thanks, Mom.
Thanks. Drive safe.
I will hopefully.
All right, see ya. I thought you were here to
I'm going to mention that happened.
What? What did I miss?
Thanks, Al. Thanks, folks. Hope you feel better. I have to.
Thank you. Drive safe. Stay hydrated.
I have my Navy pea coat from Lagos.
Looks good. You can't go wrong with that.
Your navy button? You got anchors on those buttons?
Of course, it's the real thing. That's from Lagos. This is it. Yeah. Look.
No, the inside's not real.
Yeah, return my message, so.
Well,
I still have mine. I love it.
Is that,
Heavy.
was I right? Was that what I asked?
Thank you, George.
About
Let's talk about that light next week.
Did you get inundated?
Or
I
tomorrow.
got a couple. Yeah, well, you know why that was, right?
I know what?
You know why that happened?
No.
Oh,
That's what I want to ask.
No, I'll explain later.
Oh.
No, not because of that. I think it's the silliest thing in the world.
Okay.
I
I
mean,
got a
I
guy.
just don't know if you know that.
I got a guy on Fletcher, 76 years old, with this much snow, and I want to.
Gary, it was like that, and you couldn't move it because of that. I had that same thing, but it was a
Maybe use your head.
Did I miss something?
It was no, but
You'll know.
you'll know. You'll understand. You probably you'll understand. I'm sure you got it.
Okay? Back in action?
so
We
Mr.
up
Chairman,
to you?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, in the interest of time, I'll be just very brief. On the administrative update, I just want to point out that the FY18 budget process continues to move forward. The Capital Planning Committee met every Wednesday in January, have met in February. They have another meeting coming up after their next meeting in February. Probably do a discussion under my report about the capital. As the board is aware, there's a lot of capital challenges and needs before the committee that we're working on. The rest of the budget process is moving forward. The town accountant and I are going to be meeting with the departments regarding the budget requests. And we'll continue to send information to the board as we receive it with the process moving forward. And we continue to promote the vacancies on the Finance Committee as well, and have some potential interest, new interest on that, so we'll see what happens on that. Lastly, one of the things we'll be faced with is, believe it or not, based on the nature of this winter, the town accountant informed me today that we're rapidly approaching having spent 80% of the snow and ice budget for FY18. As the board recalls that you can deficit spend for snow and ice, which we've often done. The challenge is that under Mass General Law, that same deficit spending under snow and ice requires the Finance Committee, just like the reserve fund transfer.
Can the moderator appoint someone temporarily? I mean, obviously, if there's someone willing.
Yeah, as of very recent, we have some good potential leads.
Yeah,
so the problem may resolve itself in the next week or so. But I'm just making the board aware that the longer without the Finance Committee, I mean, the solution will have to be a special town meeting, which would occur right before the regular town meeting. We've done these occasionally in the past. Town meeting will have to be the appropriating mechanism to address some of these accounts. All of the other accounts are not in a reserve fund state yet, which is good, but I just found out that the snow and ice is at 80%.
Gary?
Yes.
Can I?
Good.
Okay. First of all, we've gotten that much snow and ice?
Yes,
It's
all
been
of
so,
the- yeah.
The ice.
yeah, I guess it
They've
just
been having
doesn't
a
feel
lot,
like we've had
yeah.
anything.
They've had
Agreed.
a lot for
But
ice.
as far as like the FinCom, I mean, across the state, we can't be the only town that's had a scenario like this. There's got to be some type of workaround in scenarios this besides just a special town meeting or something, isn't there? I mean,
Yeah, but the reality is that the solution is for the board to call a special town meeting.
That's the only way.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Now, we're not at that point yet, but we'll keep you posted. But the budget process is moving forward, and we'll have more of that rate review committee meeting. In the interest of time, I'll give a more detailed as we have more info on that.
Just quickly, one thing on the FinCom. Does it have to go to the ballot to make the FinCom a 3-member board?
No, those are appointments.
I see
what you're saying.
I don't mean it like because I only want 3 members of FinCom. I'm just saying it would make it a lot easier for a quorum with 2 as opposed to 3. I mean, they can't even get 4, never mind
It
5.
would require a town meeting change, not the
Is that
ballot.
something that we may want to consider? I mean, this board's at 3. We can't.
When was the last time they had 5 people on the board? It's been a few years.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's be honest, the idea has been talked about. Maybe, I think you're right. I think it is time that maybe we bring it to town meeting and say, you might want to think about this.
So why don't I do
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
for your next meeting, we'll find out from town council and so forth, the mechanism,
Okay.
and get more info on it.
Yeah, I have no problem with it being at 5 if it was a full board, but.
Okay.
It hasn't been a full board
Hasn't
for a
been
couple
full board,
years.
And you have 2 members that are eager to do stuff that can't right now, so, just a thought.
So with that, then I'll just get to the action items in the interest of time and the weather, Mr. Chair. The first item, I do have an appointment. I'm respectfully recommending the appointment of Miss Jess Gugino of Ayer to an unexpired 3-year term on the Zoning Board of Appeals to expire on June 30th, 2017.
I think she'd be an excellent addition.
So say so moved.
So moved.
Second, just a question.
Right.
Does zoning board of appeals appeal, would that be conservation as well? Conservation decisions is separate, right?
Right.
All right, I'm right on that. It wouldn't be, it would just be building decisions and stuff like that.
Correct.
Okay, variances, okay. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't a conflict with being
Yeah.
on that. Then second.
All right, anything else? Question? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
The next item, before you know it, it will be spring. I'm respectfully requesting or recommending that the board officially open the annual town meeting warrant. Annual town meeting is scheduled for Monday, May 8th at 7 p.m. at the Ayer Shirley Regional High School. And the deadline for all citizens petitions will be Friday, April 14th at noon. That'll also be the deadline for all articles. So again, respectfully asking for a motion to officially open the warrant.
I make a motion that the Air Board of Selectmen officially open the annual town meeting warrant.
Second.
Moved in second, open the warrant. Did you say that citizens petitions?
Yes, the
What?
Friday, April 14th at noon to the town clerk. So what the
Do you
plan
need
is,
that in the motion? Or?
no,
No.
we just need you
Okay.
to open it,
Okay.
unless there's objection to it, but.
No.
So the plan will then be, the warrant will close on the 14th.
Yep.
You have a meeting on the 18th of April.
Yep.
To consider the warrant for approval. We'll get you a whole budget schedule.
All right. First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right.
All right, the next item I have is the reclassification of the DPW business manager. This has been a long-standing issue with respect to this, but specifically from the time that the HRS study commenced, and there are issues with the HRS study, but from the beginning, there were issues and concerns raised as it pertained to this position and how it was classified. It began with HRS using the wrong job description despite what we provided them. The position concerns about the classification were consistent in the interest of time throughout the HRS process. When the study went to town meeting in 2015, both the personnel board at the time and the FinCom said that concerns and positions, we're going to put the study forward, and concerns on certain positions would be addressed through reclassification. Those positions were this one, DPW superintendent, town engineer, Parks and Rec, facilities, and some others, and those corrections were made. When this position was put forth to reclassification, I had made a recommendation using the HRS system, as I always do, to the Personnel Board. I had recommended at a grade 12. The Personnel Board conducted its reclassification of that, which is its purview, and came up with a grade 9. The employee, after that, filed a appeal with my office under Section 12 of the problem resolution procedure in the manual, specifically, and this is not a criticism of anybody, but specifically citing some concerns on some of the grading within the HRS system. I had talked to the Personnel Board chairman about this, and the Personnel Board made its decision and had put it forth to the board, which is its purview. It's also the purview of the employee to file an appeal under Section 12 of the Personnel Appeal Process. That problem resolution procedure was initiated on this issue. The appeal board was convened, and you have this in your memo. It was formed consisting of the police chief, fire chief, town clerk, economic development director, and the assessing administrator. The appeals board selected the assessing administrator as the chair. Mr. Johnston served as the facilitator at my request for this appeal. They met on 2 different occasions, and ultimately their recommendation on appeal was that the position should be a grade 10. They came upon that using the same HRS system that the personnel board used. They also interviewed myself on the matter, the DPW superintendent, and the incumbent position holder. So therefore, I'm bringing it back to the board, respectfully requesting that the position be put at a grade 10. And as we did with all other positions that were reclassified, we took the incumbent position's current salary and assigned it to the step that was closest to that, but not lower. So in this case, the position would be a grade 10, step 10.
Go ahead.
Well, I remember when this came in front of us last year.
Yeah.
And it got quite heated, and ironically, I recommended at the time that I didn't name the specific grade or step because, but I did say, because I says, why don't you go 1 grade and a step over, so that, she would be brought up a grade and she'd no longer be stepped out. So, and here it is.
Well, I got a problem with
back.
this stepped out. It's almost like you step out, you want to reclassify. That seems to be the history that's going on. What was the raise this individual got when it came out of the union?
Good point.
That
20 grand? 15
somewhere
grand?
between 15 and 20. I don't have it in front of me.
30%?
And they got bumped with the reclassification as well?
No,
Didn't everybody get a bump after that?
No, this one did not. Now, I'm just saying that the merits of it that were brought forth, there were substantive merits brought forth on concerns about the classification.
Well, the problem is the study was awful. And it kind of, in some areas it was decent, in other departments it really didn't.
I would agree in this
do it justice.
Middle management area there are some problems.
Which is difficult for the personnel board because they're looking at the study, basing their decisions, which I get.
I just don't understand when we changed the position to the manager and we gave a raise. What has changed since we gave that raise?
No, it was less than 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been longer than that. I think it was aspects of the job description.
Well, now that I think about it, when this position was made to be a business manager, wasn't that 2014? You were chair? We made the position to be a business manager.
I believe it was.
And then there was the classification, and this was brought up, which now the recommendation is what was even being discussed last year, and now here we are, so.
Yeah, it was been 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did the job description dramatically change since then? I guess we're a little confused.
The department has raised concerns on the classification of it consistently throughout the process, and that's what we were trying to address and to correct. Hence this whole very long process to try to get it correct.
But it was fine when we initially put it in.
Yeah, I don't remember that being a problem.
No, it's been an issue since the beginning. And it started with HRS using the wrong job description.
No, I'm talking about before that, when
Oh,
we
you mean
created,
before
when
we
we
first
created the
made
position.
her a business manager.
The study came after she was,
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
title changed
Yes.
and came out of the union.
Right, because
Yes.
when 2014, we went to the Board of Three, that's when that position was created to be a
Correct.
business manager.
Mhm. Yeah, and it cost us.
I mean, I just want, on this, obviously, the employee had a right to appeal under the policy,
Sure.
and that's happened.
Mhm.
And I know that both both myself, which was at a grade 12, took it very serious in using the HRS system, as I always do, and I do tend to be slightly higher than the personnel board generally because I have a more intimate and professional understanding of the exact jobs, and that's not a criticism of anybody. Secondly, the appellate board that I mentioned here was strictly looked at the job description, the approved job description, and used that to do the classification, and they came at a grade 10 on it.
But they weren't using the information that we have, that this person received quite a bit of a bump.
Well, right, but the classification is got to be based on the job description. There is no question that the incumbent holder was adjusted in 2013. I don't have the date in front of me.
You're right, yeah.
Right. But I believe that grade 10 is the accurate classification of the position. I had it even higher, and I even took it on my own a step further and consulted 3 external professional entities just with the job description, and they came back at a grade 9/grade 10. The Collins Center and 2 other folks that do this, trying to get the classification correct.
So if approved, it would be a grade 10, step 10, and at step 11, she's stepped out.
Correct.
So she's 1 step away from being stepped out again.
Correct.
So we can change it again.
Then reclassify.
Board?
Last year when we discussed this, it got very heated, as we all know. And one of the things that I did argue at the time and asked, and it was kind of being resisted, is that, well, then why couldn't we look at the time, because this could have been solved even last year, at the time of going 1 grade, 1 step, getting it lined up, because I think we did that with one of the other people last year, is we went up one over to resolve this issue. But it was a big fight about this one, which is why it ended up going back to the appeal. So what's being asked for tonight is basically what I was arguing for last year. So though I understand what you two were saying, I don't have too much heartburn on it because it's not out of what I was thinking last year.
Okay.
I don't remember this position. I remember Superintendent Wetzel's becoming a heated discussion because I myself felt like it was way out of whack.
Yeah, me
what
too.
What he was in charge of doing. I believe he was lumped in with the community,
Yeah.
with the former director and his job description, but no employees. So
Yeah. I checked even the meeting minutes because I was trying to remember the conversation for
That's
this. Yeah.
that's what I remember. I don't remember this coming up before, so
Yeah.
I don't feel like I know enough about it really just to be saying here. The personnel board was a 9. That's what they recommended, correct?
I had recommended a 12. The personnel board recommended a 9. The appeals board recommended a 10. And the outside analysis came in at 9/10. I'm asking for consideration and approval.
You mean
for
a 10?
10-10.
You mean the
Grade
outside
10.
grade 10, step
Yeah.
9, not a 9?
They just did the grade, the 10. Yeah, the step is how we come up with the step.
I think you said it
Oh,
backwards
I'm
just a
sorry.
second ago, is
Yeah.
what I was trying to figure
Yeah.
out.
May I ask, Kevin, you're on the appeals board, right? I mean,
I was present, I was not a member.
oh, okay, all right. My concern is that we have a person on board that is there for a reason. I don't want to start setting precedent here that every time, I mean, obviously the HRS study, we got involved because there was some things that were way out of whack.
Yep.
But every time position is classified, the step isn't, are we going to be filing appeals and bringing it up to satisfy? I mean, I feel free to speak candidly. I do know a lot more about it than I do.
No, it's the only appeal that we've had. It's the only appeal in my 7 years under Article 12 that's occurred, and that's not a reflection on anything. But
No, I'm asking you. You know more about it. I'm
Yeah.
not saying. I'm asking you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know enough about the position.
I believe that the 10 is reasonable and is correct, looking at the job description and the position, not the individual. In other words, if we were to hire for this position tomorrow, it should be at a grade 10. Granted, it would be on the range of step 1 through 3, back at the beginning.
Just, Lieutenant, do you mind? I mean, you're on the personnel board still, correct, sir?
I am, Mr. Holmes, yes.
And did you just take strictly the HRS study, or I mean, I'm assuming you guys took more into account than just the study itself?
For the position at hand?
Yes.
that we're talking about?
Sorry to put you on the spot. I apologize.
And I have to preface that our board hasn't discussed this.
Oh, okay.
Hasn't discussed this, so whatever would be my historical knowledge.
Yeah, right. No, absolutely. And I apologize for putting you on the spot. I just was.
From the best of my recollection, what we had done was taken the HRS study on its first pass through the town meeting with the understanding that we would revisit certain number of positions. That being one of them, and we did revisit that position.
Okay. All right.
Kevin, do you have a question?
I don't have a question. Can I have a comment? So,
Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Mr. Chairman, through this process, there was some question about the validity of the job description that was used for the HRS study versus what the job description that is in place now for the responsibilities that are currently being completed. So to answer your question about just what happens when the incumbent steps out, well, I would say to you that unless there's significant changes to the job requirements and the job description changes, nothing happens. So something would have to come forward. We have a valid job description that everybody agrees on now. There would have to be substantial changes to what we have on file to warrant any other kind of reclassification.
Can I get copies of those two? Job description? The current one and the...
What's being done now?
Yes.
The current one is accurate, isn't it?
It is accurate, that's right.
Yeah.
And that,
Now.
the one we have now.
Yeah, and the previous step.
That's not in here, though. It's not in the packet, right?
Yeah, we don't have, yeah.
So the current one is accurate?
Now, the one that's in place is accurate.
The one that was in place when we made the position a business manager? Or the one that was in place as of the appeals?
No, the one that was in place, the issue has never, since town meeting, the issue has never been the job description. The issue is the application of the interpretation of the classification.
But you have to use the job description in order to
correct.
do the classification.
Right.
So I guess that what we're asking, the job description that was written circa 2014, which approved the position to be a business manager.
That was vetted by the...
If we were to sit
board.
that one
yes.
to the one of right this minute today, are they going to be the same?
Yes, they're the same.
So the job description has not changed since the position was made a business manager circa 2014.
Right. But
okay, so that's the current one.
Correct.
Okay.
She's just talking.
No,
I wasn't
no.
implying that. I hope you don't know.
No. We were literally confused. We were literally confused. Okay, so, all right.
There were changes to the job description.
Okay, it did sound that way, didn't it? Okay.
We changed all the job descriptions based on the HRS study.
Aha.
Which was vetted by the personnel board, though, correct? The changes.
Yeah, the job description that...
Okay. These aren't changes that have since come up since
No.
their board
No.
reviewed it.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, they were all locked in place in August of 15. When the
Correct.
personnel board approved them.
Right.
Then town meeting of 15, the fall.
Right.
That's when they
Yeah.
approved it. But there were changes from, like, when HRS went through and did the interviews and all that stuff, from when she was made the business manager, and then the HRS study, because it was like started and then it stopped and then it started, and it got lost in the jumble there, because there were some.
Yeah.
And because when they did the study, they had office manager, not business manager, even though she was a business manager at that point. That's where some of the confusion came in.
Okay, I thought she was an office manager.
She's a business manager. That's her current title, business manager.
Okay.
So,
We still don't have a second.
well, here's one of the questions I have. One of the things that this has illustrated is that Section 12 of the Personnel Manual is deficient in some areas. And one of them is, and why I brought it to the board, it says that where is it? The findings of the Board of Appeals shall be determined by a majority vote. So in this case, it was unanimous for 10 of the case panel and will be binding on all parties. So the question is the appeals board decision binding? And I maintain from the beginning of the process that regardless of what the appeals process came up, that it should come back to the Board of Selectmen for final approval.
Okay, not necessarily taking the appeal into consideration.
Right, I have always maintained that in most instances under the current form of government, unless otherwise specified, that the buck stops with the three of you.
Right. Comments? Motions? No.
I don't know. I feel like I need to know a little bit more about this before
Okay.
I don't object. I understand the person's a fantastic employee, and I'm sure someone can sit here and tell me 25 reasons why. A job description, what they do above and beyond, but I mean, this is just a short memo. Not that this, I don't mean it that way, but we had the personnel board committee of the 9.
I just can't think that the position changed that much, but
Well, the employee never accepted the 9. I mean, the 9 is what happened, but it has been...
did you take the money?
What?
Did you take the money?
Well, that was before then.
Okay.
Can we defer this to the next? I just like to have some more information on it. I mean, I'm not sold that she didn't accept it, so I need to bump it up.
Sure.
I agree.
Put it on the agenda for the next meeting.
What would the board like?
Well,
I'd like the 2 job descriptions myself. What was based on.
Well, yeah, because and trust me, we all know the HRS put us all. It did not come out the way we wanted it to come out. It really was great in some areas and awful in other areas. And this could have very well been one of the areas that was awful in.
What the fundamental...
Well, I think last year, one of the problems is that the personnel board was saying a grade 9, and Robert was, as the town administrator, was recommending a grade 12. And that caused quite a fuss last year too, and so looking at the meeting minutes and everything, I think that's when we said, we're not, that's it.
See, just lastly, Mr. Chair, what the issue is well, so there's the approved job description in any case, and as you know, there are 15 categories in the HRS study, and you go down through them, and you award points based on the different categories, such as work environment, etc., and you're supposed to base that completely on the job description. So it's supposed to be person blind, if you will. And one of the things is because in any personnel system, it involves humans, and though you try to obtain the highest level of objectivity, there's a difference of opinion. On this one, I had it as a 12. They had it as a 9. The appeals board had it as a 10. The outside consultants had it as a 9 or 10. The one you just did, the building commissioner, I had recommended at a grade 13, and the personnel board came up with a grade 14 by 1 point, in the scoring mechanism they do. They were specific on that night, having been there. The complaint of the employee was there were certain categories in her classification that she felt were not scored correctly.
Can we have that case made to us?
Yeah, I can. I can provide. I mean, Kevin put together. I can give whatever you would like for the decision. We can provide.
I'd like those two job descriptions myself.
I got that.
Yeah.
And what was flawed in the study, because obviously I'm not familiar with everything that went through that study. And she very well could be right. I mean, we saw a lot of things in other job descriptions that were flawed.
Yeah, like what's her argument?
Yeah, exactly. That's and it could be very compelling.
Yeah, and she did not, in her complaint, in her appeal, she didn't appeal and cite a specific grade or so forth.
No, I understand that.
But just so you know,
I'm not faulting
that,
her in any way. I want to make the best decision based on the facts. I don't want to just say because she's a great employee, I want to change the step.
All right, so I've got the two job descriptions.
Then I'm sure that'll make people mad, but I'd rather have facts before I make a decision. I mean, obviously, you're the chairman, so it's up to you if you want to vote on it, but I mean, that's how I feel.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We can bring it in next meeting. Janice, is there anything you need for information?
Yeah, the job descriptions and like if there's meeting minutes or something from the appeals board or something as to how they arrived to their decision or whatnot, and then I'm gonna look over the packet from last year and see what was in it and kind of go over I think I'm gonna try to watch that video and see what our arguments were at the time.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
The next item is a one-day beer and wine license for St. Mary's Parish for a St. Patrick's Day dinner on Saturday, March 18th. The license will be from 5:30 p.m. until 9:30 p.m. for beer and wine.
I know they get a little rowdy in St. Patrick's Day, but
Yeah. What was the date? I'm sorry, I lost it on the page. I was scrolling
March
through that.
18th.
March 18th, 5:30 at 5:30 to 9:30.
I make a motion to grant a one-day beer and wine license to St. Mary's Parish for March 19th, for the hours of 5:30 to 9:30. 18th, I'm sorry, excuse me, 18th.
Seconded?
Moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The last item I have, the board did this last year, from the ABCC, the seasonal population estimate for the town of Ayer, and it's a document that requires a vote and signature by the full board certifying that the town's population does not change in the summer. This is often more applicable to places like Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, down the Cape, and so forth.
Sandy Pond.
So we're looking for you to approve that as of July 10th of 2017, the population will remain the same, and that the documents for signature by all three of you.
Okay. We don't have to make a motion or anything on that, right?
Yeah, it's the move.
So moved?
So moved.
Seconded?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Sorry, I forgot my blue pen.
That's all right.
Rob, do you have anything else?
No, I know what I will get for you on the other issue for the 21st. I think we meet. That concludes the report. I'll have more on the budget.
We'll have an update on the farm by then, on the Westwood Road.
Yes, the
21st.
reason there isn't tonight through the chair is we will be going to court tomorrow.
Yeah, I had some.
We'll have an update
Usual
after.
residents, I explained that to them,
Yeah.
that it was out of
Yeah.
our hands at the moment, so, okay.
Yep. And lastly, as the board knows, we're meeting with the schools on Monday at 7, and then the next meeting is the 21st.
And then we get together on the 22nd for the public input.
Yeah.
For the
Probably why I won't be here for the
Depot
schools.
Square.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that maybe we could meet on like the 28th for dinner.
So if there is an objection, we will post the Board of Selectmen for the February 22nd. It's a public input workshop. It'll be more informal, but just so
I think
we
that's a good idea.
cover it.
Sure.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
All right, new business. Just a couple things. I forgot I wanted to mention that Robert and I went to the breakfast at Neshoba Tech, and we have $100,000 savings over last year. That's the good news.
Like that.
The bad news is it's at the lowest enrollment that Ayer and Shirley has ever had. So
Is that good based on our, you know what I mean? Like, is that a good news for the high school because they're retaining, or is it, you know what I mean? Like, is it balanced that way?
no, I don't think so. But
Okay.
I mean, obviously it's apples and oranges considering what they offer and what the
Mhm.
tech offers.
Yeah.
Except for some AP classes that the tech offers, that the kids are doing very well in. So
I know some kids
I
that
just-
left.
Mhm.
I know some mids, you know, you always have those
Yes,
transfers too.
yeah.
There's like 6 that went there, 3
Yeah.
that came back, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
The problem I have is I think it's being minimized by maybe guidance. I've had a couple people tell me a couple things, so I'll ask that next week.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's a good question for the superintendent.
I mean, this has been ongoing for the last 3 years, so it's been brought up and brought up. But the breakfast was good. Kids did a good job.
Yes, in
That's
fact,
good over
two of
there.
they showcased 3 students. 2 of them were from Ayer,
Yep.
which we're going to ask to come to Ayer to be recognized.
Right.
Very impressive.
Culinary.
No,
No.
robotics,
Yeah.
engineering, robotics, and theater
Yeah.
arts.
She's going to be get an Oscar.
And then with the tech program there, we also are going to ask, putting together a meeting with the students to come over and potentially with the old fire station, the
Yeah,
work that
right.
needs to be done to shore it up.
I'm gonna
for
use
the-
them.
for the season.
We need to use them more. We've been
Yeah,
talking about it.
have
Yes.
them do that work to avoid that cost.
I think they've done a couple of police cars, right? Or
And the
one.
police car,
Yeah. So
yeah. So they're always looking for
they-
projects, so if members of the
they're
board-
open to anything.
carpentry, plumbing,
Yeah.
culinary,
Yep.
graphic design.
Mm-hmm.
Town of Air signs.
They did our
Yeah.
logo for the master plan,
Mm-hmm.
and they built a podium.
They were gonna build us a gazebo too, remember that died that we were talking about out at
They
by the car
probably-
wash? Yeah.
So
What-
anyway,
What'd you just say for that?
The logo for the master plan,
Oh.
their graphic.
Are we going to
artist
hear
did.
anything about the master plan, by the way? Okay.
We had a form a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it was nice.
Unfortunately, I was busy. I was planning on going.
It was fantastic.
MPO, I mentioned briefly when
Mhm.
the guys were here.
Mhm.
There's kind of like $1 million floating for highway projects, they tell me. Ready.
Well, when it floats by, grab it.
Well, I'm wondering if there's anything out there, Robert. You can talk to Mark.
yeah, I mean, one of the things you'll want to press on, is
Yeah.
the sidewalks.
No, that's a different. I asked about that.
The Fitchburg Road sidewalks, because that's going to be a tip project. And the other one is as Selectman Hillman knows, through Capital, there's going to be another application to do the Columbia Street
Yep.
sidewalk
Yeah.
and the Main Street sidewalk, all that streetscape.
Can he get any figures? Something I can present that.
Yeah. For example, to redo from Newton to the front of the town hall, all this here, that's $544,000. We can have a quote on that through Capital, so I'll get that to you.
Okay.
That's one.
Yeah.
And then, but he wants to include also, we have to do something. It's been since 1985 with the sidewalk and everything That's a tip, so we might as well use the tip.
Yeah.
And then there's the sidewalks from Tiny's that don't exist, but the sidewalks.
That's DOT.
The DOT.
Well, if
But
he
yeah.
if he can get something that's around $1 million,
Okay. I know
Find
if,
something.
if anybody can find something for $1 million, it's him. So.
but it has to
Okay.
be
Yeah.
road related.
Oh, yep. Okay.
All right. And the fire station you mentioned in the Neshoba Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Breakfast was good, $100,000 savings. Did we have something else that we saved $300,000 on?
Oh, but the
Possibly.
Go ahead. Yep.
Possibly a savings of refinancing some bonds.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Like that.
it's all good. The snow removal bylaw, sidewalk shoveling. I've had a couple of people call me. One gentleman down on Fletcher that doesn't know why, with a couple inches of snow, and he's 76 years old,
Nice.
why he's being, in a street that really isn't that busy, why he's being targeted. Dave Dolan on Fletcher. And then I heard some people up at Pingree too, but I don't know if this is something that was brought up to you, Chief. I don't know if anybody on this board ever mentioned anything, or
I mentioned an issue the same exact day about the abandoned vehicles. But nothing about, I've never mentioned anything about this.
Okay.
But I don't know if it coincides. Kind of felt like it did, but.
yeah. All right. People ask me questions. I got to get answers for them. So, obviously, I think we should use a head if there's a couple inches of snow there, and you got an 80-year-old guy there. I know what the nuisance bylaw says. I think it's wrong.
It's horrible.
But I know you got to go. That's your only way to go, because that's what's written. So.
Well, sidewalk snow isn't under the nuisance bylaw.
Oh, it's in the snow.
Regulation section.
Right. So it's just,
Do you routinely enforce it like you did that Thursday?
No, we don't. Of late, it used to be that we did after every snowstorm. The past couple of years, we have not, chosen not to, unless we got complaints. But it was my feeling that we were asked to be a little more proactive with town bylaw enforcement. So I put it up to my guys, even though it's not our SOP, if you're out on patrol, you see violations, can you please try to be proactive? Didn't tell them why, but it was my email to my guys.
there were probably warnings, right? Nobody got issued.
Nobody got issued citations. No
Yeah.
citations went out of it.
And just on a
So-
side thing, you can't put anything in mailboxes
Right.
without postage.
I didn't realize that was done.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's not what we want.
No, all right, I just wanted to
So I
let you
just
know.
asked them, blanket, all bylaw violations, if you notice something, please be proactive. That night, the south car was able to get to the east end of town and saw sidewalks not taken care of, so they took action.
Okay. All right,
That's why what was zoned.
all right. Okay.
Is that still the case with the bylaws? That wasn't just that one day? It was more
Since the
cognizant?
backlash from that day, I've recommended troops to stop until we can regroup and figure out what it is the board would like us to do.
I made sure I shoveled today.
No, I don't think it has anything to do with that.
I mean,
No.
our problem is staffing.
Yeah, oh no.
We just don't have the staffing to be driving around trying to enforce bylaws. But if we get complaints, absolutely.
And you just had someone leave too, right?
I'm sorry?
You had somebody leave?
Yes.
Off the
we're down-
force?
We're down 3 officers again.
Okay.
So we're happy to hear anybody's complaint. It can be anonymous, nobody ever gets mentioned, and we'll take care of those complaints.
But you don't have the manpower to go around looking.
Not when we have so many other things to do.
If you're passing something, I would hope you would.
Right.
That was my point, that's all. It was a complaint that maybe they didn't, they said they had contacted PD.
Chief and I had a great conversation maybe a few weeks before that, just in general, when he explained the manpower and stuff, and I get it, you know?
That's it.
I don't want these guys going, you know, let's go on shift, let's ignore speeding traffic so we can walk around people's backyards. I mean, that's absurd.
Mm.
But I mean, this one was glaring.
Yeah.
And I think I copied everybody in the email. I wasn't trying to pick on the people, I don't know who they are, but I mean, this gentleman, they complained. Cars were on the road. In the grand scheme of things, was it a big thing? No, but, I mean, I felt like it was probably noticed, and that was my point, that's all. And consistency, and again, I don't want these guys spending, you know, any time on it really, except as I notice stuff, maybe, you know, make a note of it. Or,
Yeah.
you know.
I agree, and
because we get all those people at town meeting ask, oh, well, we passed all those bylaws, I thought you guys were gonna make up of what we did and all this and how we're gonna enforce it. And I think collaboratively, we should probably all sit down. Janice and I talked about this at the meeting, Gary wasn't here. And this is what I talked about with the chief, is come up with some ideas for everybody to work together. Because people, for some reason, as approachable as all these guys are, because they are, I mean, and the people who, on the snow thing, said, oh, they were very friendly and said, you know, one gentleman said, I've lived here in 19 years, and a police officer came knocking on my door, I couldn't figure out what it was. He was very friendly and said I had to shovel the sidewalk, because the gentleman had no idea. But people, for some reason, don't always want to contact the police.
I think part of it is because you're kind of trained that you don't call the police unless you're actually having to dial 911.
And I don't know, Chief, because you have, I mean, you've put it out there a million times, and you're very approachable. You want to have coffee, you want to talk to me. I don't know if it's instances that have happened in other towns, Groton years ago, where, you know, where people get this stuck in their head that if you complain too much, and, you know, they're going to think I'm a problem, or, you know, I don't get it. Because
it's a societal thing.
Because I say it all the time, too, like, what, you complain to Gary, Janice, and I mean, what are we going to do? I can't.
Many people, they're afraid of retribution from the people they're complaining about. And they don't understand that we are totally anonymous.
Exactly.
We never tell anybody if they want to be that way. Well, so, in our defense, you know, and I'll go back to those 3 vehicles. The people who live in that area know all about it. You know, they see it every day, they know it. Us driving by, we might drive by it all the time, and it just doesn't dawn on us. You know, the back end, we can't see the lights, whatever. It's not obvious to us, but it's obvious to the neighbors. And so if they bring a complaint forward, even if they go through you guys, all you gotta do is tell us. Again, we don't care who complains, as long as somebody complains, tells us where the problem is, we can zero in on it. We don't need, in that particular case, we don't need to name
who the person was.
Right. It's not necessary.
No, yeah.
For us to do it. There are other cases where it's, you know, becomes a little bit more necessary. But in that case, it's not necessary. So it's part of this program that the lieutenant and I are working on, or have been working on, to see something, say something.
Yeah.
Now, if they don't say it to us, then you guys got to be open to them saying it to you and telling us.
Yeah.
Or, and I put this on Facebook, any town employee, tell a town employee, tell somebody that can get to us. We don't care who you are.
That's a great point. I had
No, it's true.
brought that up a couple of years ago. I mean, you know, TPW's plowing, they see something wrong somewhere else, just in between departments, just say something, you know.
But I'd like to see the citizens find somebody they can talk to, because they need that help, they need that. If it's not going to be us, please let it be the board or any other town employee or friend, whoever they can find, to let us know, you know, if there's an issue, we can address it.
I just want to make sure you didn't have pressure on you to do anything that, you know.
No, I mean, I think they were in the right to enforce the bylaw, which is great, but it's a silly bylaw. Most towns, the DPW plows the sidewalks, and sidewalks usually aren't walkable even when they're plowed because we don't salt them. But that's
I used to walk 4 feet of snow uphill both ways.
Yeah, I know you did.
Going to school.
Yeah. But I guess the discussion would be, and we had talked about it, and I don't know if the agenda was focused. Chief and I talked about it coming to the previous meeting, and because Janice and I had discussed it about the bylaws. Maybe we can set something up, maybe a
place to go? I don't know, like a page or something, something maybe they don't have to speak to you directly, but just like a tip? I don't.
We have an anonymous tip line.
Yeah.
We have the online thing through the town's website.
No, I know that. I don't know if people just think, I can only report if it's a crime. It's, and maybe some people don't know where to go with that too. Like, there's my neighbor's got junk in their cars, and I think people are more heightened now because of what happened on Westford Road. That is that a police department issue? Is that a DPW issue? Is it a building department issue? I don't know.
Junk in cars really isn't us.
No, I understand that, but the bylaw itself, who enforces it? Would it be Charlie? Would it be you guys? I guess that's a discussion.
But isn't some of that actually written in the bylaw itself, which is on our website?
People are lazy. Yeah,
I know, but I know that, but listen, you're like, can we set up something like this? And not disputing, I think you got a great idea, but at the same time, the information is already there, so we could create another button. They ain't gonna press that button either because the button over here they're not pressing.
If there's just a place you can put it in and decipher where it goes, I don't know. I'm just trying to make it easier.
We get a lot of calls every day in our office, and especially if they call the town clerk's office, they don't know, they come right to me. And it's, okay, what are you looking for? All right, that's the building department, let me transfer you. And we get a lot of calls, and DPW told me to call over here, I have this. So in our office, we do like a lot of routing. It's like or you need to talk to the police, here's the that's how we do get a lot of calls on just where do I go, and that's fine, that's what we're there for.
Chief, would you rather hear from us individually or just through Robert?
I'm all about chain of command.
Okay.
Robert's my boss.
Okay.
He's my,
Yep.
So he should,
No, I agree.
In my world, the simple world, he's my boss and he should be telling me what to do. Not that you can't, obviously you can.
Yeah.
But it would be to have some continuity.
No, we've seen
I
that
understand
years
that.
before.
Information. It would be easier if you just go through one person, go through Robert to get to me. I'm not saying the citizens have to do that, but where you're our bosses, that's just, for me, that's the simplest way.
I can appreciate what you're saying.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because you're the
Chain
service.
goes up, chain goes down.
Right. Yep. All right. That's
And
all.
I was just going to add to that. I mean, we've had this discussion is that as you get complaints or things, just send them to your office, to us, and we'll make sure they get addressed.
If you get something from Janice, can you send it out to us too?
Well, I mean, that was...
No.
Well, I mean, that's the second piece is...
Or if you get something from me, I don't mind sharing with
I
everybody.
copied everybody.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I think that the standing protocol, and has there been deviation from that? Sure, at times, but it should be, I was just going to say, the first thing is send everything to us so we can make sure it gets to the right place.
Right.
And secondly, that we can make sure that if it comes from you, Selectman Luca, that Selectman Hillman and Livingston know, or if it comes from you, that everybody's in the
loop,
on the same page.
Yeah, I try to follow that theory. Copying you guys.
Well, I mean, if a constituent happens to talk to one of us and we've emailed you to say, here's the issue and everything like that, is it necessarily a Board of Selectmen thing?
Well, I mean, that's...
Or is it the constituent?
It could be.
Or, well, yeah, but that's the thing, is, as to whether or not it is. It could be the constituent has, just doesn't want to tell the police that somebody didn't, I'm going to use the shovel under the sidewalk as an example. They tell you, all right, I'll tell Robert. Robert, could you just pass this on to them? It's not necessarily a Board of Selectmen thing. It's just a constituent trying to get the information to the people to enforce it.
Suppose you use your best judgment on it.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what we try to do. Like, here's a classic example. There's an individual that is interested in the finance committee that professionally knows Janice. She asked him to contact me. I responded to him. I sent Janice as a courtesy my response. Now, that wasn't like I was trying to leave the two.
No, right.
That's more of like a ministerial
Emails are better
type of thing. But like on things that have to do, the things that have to do with the enforcement of your policies, for example, like the nuisance bylaw and those type of things, send them right to us because it can be a combination of things. It may be a police issue, it may be a building department issue, it may be both, it may be one or the other, it could be fire or so forth.
Okay, sounds good.
So, Chief, we passed these bylaws and we spoke on them. What would be helpful for you guys? like any tools, is it a manpower issue when you get your guys back?
Well, I'm hoping when I get my staffing back, where it's supposed to be, we're gonna make our traffic unit, I promise. And that frees up the shift to go out and do the rest of the work of their sector, without having to do traffic. That's a huge, huge time sucker.
No, I agree, and that's
So,
why I supported
at
that
that point,
position.
maybe we can be more proactive in the bylaws. But we're looking at September at the earliest now, before we're back to full staff.
And do like the new officers know, I mean, obviously, everybody has their thing. Every police officer probably wants to enforce something more than others. I mean, great, that's people's personality. Are they all informed of, because it's hard, like I wouldn't expect the first thing you say, oh, by the way, there's a snow bylaw, welcome to Ayer, and make sure you enforce that when you're on patrol. But I mean, the used car bylaw, whatever it was we passed, it was kind of a fight on Tommy Ford a few years ago.
The nuisance, the nuisance bylaw.
Part
Yeah,
of
it's
our
practically a
training
knockdown,
program
drag out.
for every new officer is encompassing of all our bylaws.
Okay.
And reviewing them, and the FTO that's assigned has got to review and explain the bylaw at hand. And it's not just when the incidents come up, this is a bylaw that we enforce, this is in the town of Ayer. So, all the bylaws are discussed with every new employee that come through.
We have one standing behind you if you want to ask him.
Well, that's why I was just curious. That's why
I'm sitting behind.
Yeah, no. That's why I asked, because I know you've had such a new group of officers too.
David's still in training. He's in the FTO. Richards is FTO.
Doing a fine job.
He's the guy that you can ask right now if you'd like.
No, that I am asking. Yeah, I was just curious. Like, how is it?
As part of the program, we go through and we discuss the snow bylaw, and we discuss the motor vehicle bylaw, the bylaws surrounding the motor vehicle laws, and who can enforce them, the timeframes that they have, the fines, and we try and break down what we can do as police officers, and we give them an overview of what other agencies in the town can do. And if we see an issue, the fire department's in charge of the housing. If we go to a house and you can't find the house number to, which happens sometimes, you're driving up and down the street, you're trying to respond to something, you can't find a number, who to direct that to the fire department. So it is encompassed in part of the training program. It is encompassed in part of everyday patrol and roll call and things like that.
Okay.
I just had one point to your question about, if I can be so bold, you were asking, does the board have to be involved? Be told about everything that the other board members do. And I think you'd ultimately decide to leave it up to Robert. But I think, if you're just passing on information, that's one thing. But if a board member is telling us to do something, that's the entire board telling us to do something.
Yeah, that's not appropriate.
But you can speak for the whole board.
Well, if we're talking about that one instance,
No.
Everybody. I'm not talking about
No,
you.
just answer
Everybody
him.
was. It wasn't. That
No,
wasn't.
everybody was caught.
Okay.
But
All right.
So myself as an employee, if I hear from a member of the board of selectmen telling me to do something, that's the entire board telling me to do something. Do I feel? Of course, I feel a little pressure. That's my job.
In the chief's defense, he had some rough sledding there for members of the board previous to us that
I know
tended to make statements that.
I got no problem with what you're saying.
So that's, as an employee, that's my feeling.
As we are.
If I'm told to do something, the entire board is telling me to do something. And if I don't do something, then I'm in trouble.
No,
So that's why I think leaving it up to Robert, I think is, getting back to that whole thing, I think that's the best.
Absolutely. I mean,
as far as an employee goes.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, in terms of the conversation that the chief and I had in maybe early January was a question I had to Robert, we brought to the chief, and then the chief called me just to get an idea of what I was thinking.
Right, I felt that
we had,
it's best that
we had a great conversation on things we could do and improve on and what we could do. The thing with this board is, though, we're pretty, and I know you're probably still shell-shocked a little bit from years ago. This board is pretty transparent with each other. I mean, there's not that I'm aware of. No. We try to keep everybody in the loop, whether we like it. I mean, we might send something out where another one says, I don't mind, but we try to keep each other in the loop, so.
That's when we shut down I'm not checking my email for 3 days.
I mean, my mentality is, none of us should do anything unilaterally.
Agreed.
Correct.
And that's even with knowledge, even with the other two knowing. If it's not something we established here and passed on to Robert, I mean, we lose our credibility and our transparency.
So one final substantive point on this issue of, let's say, the nuisance bylaws as a whole, which is obviously a policy set by the Board of Selectmen, meaning the nuisance bylaws applied by town meeting. What would be helpful, and I know this came up about enforcing them, just to paint the picture on the reality of it, is, and this is not meant as excuses, but if we're missing some key holes on some things, or there's a shift in that policy, then I think we do need to have that discussion. We have 5 properties, it's public record, we have 5 properties in a state of property enforcement. In the courts, there are 5, as everybody knows, and it's public record. In addition to that, and one of them has completely consumed the town's enforcement arm, or at least consumed 80% of it for the last 10 weeks. In addition to that, the building the building commissioner is in the process of now getting back to, we did the whole thing with the sign bylaw, the thing with the lights. We have, in terms of like abandoned vehicles and so forth, you know, if there are specific locations and things, just, and this has been happening to some extent, just send them to us and we'll, you know, address those. But are there other aspects of the nuisance bylaw that we need to be looking at? And that doesn't have to be answered here per se, but.
Well, I don't think a lot of it would fall. I think the only thing that would fall into PD would be the vehicles, correct? I mean, I wouldn't want to put any more.
Well, doesn't the nuisance bylaw actually state within the bylaw who the enforcement agent is for each section of that nuisance bylaw?
Right.
So.
It's 90% of it is the building inspector. I mean, there's some with fire, with clutter, and
Right, and there's some with the Board of Health and everything.
And you guys would know better than me. I think mostly just vehicles, licensed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Anything else?
Thank you.
Mary?
Mr. Chairman, can I ask you, are we doing anything about the retail marijuana?
Very good
Because I
question.
know the state pushed
in-
it off till July 1st.
It's in the state's hands
Thanks,
as far as
guys.
that's concerned, but
Thank
we
you.
still need to,
Well, what I want to know is, are we going to establish another zoning area? And one of my board members wanted to know, would the licenses be something similar to, say, all alcohol, where you'll only allow so many in a town?
I don't think we
It's
know.
based on, I believe, and I think, Chief, we brought this up at one of the meetings, based on, that's the understanding of, based on your liquor licenses or something like that, the percentage of.
That's what was talked about, yeah.
Yeah.
The liquor licenses.
Yeah.
It's,
But are we, I
we
mean,
don't know if that's going to be the case.
I was.
Are we going to ask for a
Well,
moratorium?
well,
Because, I mean, we got to
here's
wait
our
for
issue.
legislative to get their ducks in a row.
And not to keep everybody here, but the planning board completely did what they like to do and punt. They brought it up and said, well, we need to talk to council. So again.
Obviously, we need time to do
Yeah, no,
a lot of
but
things.
I mean, we sent the letter because we felt
Yeah.
we needed to address it. We sent it to the planning board. It's now 3 months later. We finally hear that they, you know, after they were done reviewing the bylaws for the 477th time, they said, well, send it back to the board. We need town council. Other towns have implemented, as Ashland, a 1-year moratorium, which is legal.
Some towns has said just medical marijuana, not.
Well, I guess you're going to get fears of, does Mr. Hilliard's place end up being a store?
Right.
And
Can't be.
it cannot be.
Can't be. You can't have a medical marijuana and
A retail store?
Well, I guess
in the same place.
does it change though? Like, is it medical where? So he would still just be.
It has to stay medical marijuana.
Okay.
I am aware that he wants to open a retail store as well.
All right.
That's gonna have to be someone else.
The
In another town,
regulations are
preferably.
now.
Okay, I just didn't know,
Yeah,
like,
that's
because
the
of
thing, they
this
haven't even
law, is medical
decided.
marijuana as needed as it was in the past. so-
Yes, it is. needed.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think what,
That's good to know.
But the legislation hasn't even figured out what they're
but I
gonna
think what
do.
Mary's saying is, are we prepared to do anything? You know, except, not even bringing the state into it. Are we prepared to have a moratorium? Are we prepared to zone a certain area of town?
Well, I think that's the discussion.
Did we get
should have.
anything from town council?
Just some basic updates, but what I was gonna say in detail, I mean, first, I think conceptually, we can all agree that the takeaway is we need to have a plan. We don't have a plan. And right now, I'm not saying that's okay, but because the regulations aren't even put forth, the state, this has done this thing all
Yeah.
backwards.
Well, they've delayed it now, but.
Well,
But
they've been
I-
kind of forced
But
into
I
it
think
too,
we
so.
do,
We're not
we
concerned
do
about
need to be ready, though, to have a plan as far as when it does come forth. The challenge is when you don't even know what the regulations are, the universe of
Yeah.
options. I mean, you could do like the moratorium and so forth, but I think conceptually, we do want to have a process and controls in
Yeah.
place,
Well,
not a free for
my
all.
concern is when it was passed for medical marijuana, it was when I was first elected. We had
Yeah.
this huge discussion at the table. This is when it was a 5-member board. I don't believe you were on yet, Janice. And we were gonna do all this research, and then all of a sudden,
I remember
Oops.
reading the minutes.
yeah.
It was
and then
like the
it-
meeting right after
it
that
was-
election that
yeah.
approved it.
And then
You guys
Sean
said you were
came in.
gonna talk about it.
No one has any issues. Someone asked me the other day who lives in town. What's that
Don't
going
even
for?
know he's here.
Exactly.
You don't-
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he had a lot of meetings with people.
Well, he
had
Right.
everything
No,
over
no,
there.
but
He came to the planning board, he came to the Board of Health.
as transparent as John is, I can assure you that someone opening a store would probably not want to be as transparent and open with us and.
Well, the thing
police
is
and-
they might not necessarily have to be.
Exactly.
That's right.
So, but therein lies the problem. I mean, you know, do we zone it? Well, that's kind of what we were asking the planning board, and they kind of indicated that they don't know how to zone it and where to zone
They
it.
know how to do a lot of things.
You know?
People show up at their own meetings.
I'm sorry.
for, master plan.
Mark Wetzel did ask that night that we had the consultant in, and she said that her scope was basically to rewrite the bylaws because how they're laid out, it's more of like a code issue, just the zoning bylaw. And he said, well, what about like medical marijuana? And she's like, that's outside my scope, like I'm not being paid to look at that. She's
Oh.
being paid to like recodify the zoning bylaw, because it is a mess. But like substantive issues, she was like, that's not what I was hired for.
So,
The same consultant that's been going on for like what now 3 years.
At least
At
since I've been
least, could be
here, yeah.
30.
So Mary, it's as muddy as it.
Well,
Still
I
is.
understand that, Mr. Chairman, and I've been reading in the paper because many communities are setting up areas now, setting up zoning. And I know that the proponents that put that citizens petition on, they're even angry that
Oh,
the
yeah.
state has pushed it off for
Yeah.
6 months.
Yeah.
I thought we should be proactive and have that bylaw.
I agree.
Or else we'll have a retail store on every corner.
Right.
Well, and what would be the harm in proposing and putting on the town meeting ballot a moratorium of 1 year from the implementation of the state rollout of this? Why not sit back?
Well, in the interest of time, why don't we do this then, to the extent that we can, for the first meeting for March, and give us a couple weeks. Let's see what we can, in light of the fact that we can all agree that the state hasn't put forth
Well,
the
that's my
regulation.
concern.
But we'll do some
See what we-
brainstorming, I'm saying.
See what we can do.
What we can do.
Well, yeah, because if a moratorium works, and I mean,
Right.
and we can buy a year to
Yeah.
see what we can do and have time to plan of,
Mhm.
we don't
Yeah.
want it.
Because then we might be able to go to fall town
Well,
meeting
that's
or
the March
something.
5th meeting, or whatever the
Yeah.
first.
Downtown,
Okay.
I mean, obviously.
Mhm.
Yeah, so basically, through the chair, the question is, in light of the fact that we don't have the regulations, what can and can't the town
Maybe
do?
reach out to Ashland.
I already did.
Oh, and
Yeah.
they are gonna go forward with that, right?
They put it in, I went to grad school with the town manager in Ashland, and they're running into a problem now because the state delayed it. So him and I have been kind of playing phone tag the past
Okay.
couple weeks, but I've reached out to him a couple times.
All right, and obviously you guys, I'm sure you have some input on where you don't want it, preferably not in town at all. Would be my hope, but have you, real quick, I know it's late, have you guys had issues with the new,
No.
even with
DUI and stuff like, I mean, it's just different training and stuff like that, but, okay. I know that was a concern for, at least that's what I read.
It's coming,
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
All
Are you all
so-
set? Okay. Chris?
I'll put that off. I'd like to speak to Charlie about that a little bit more. I haven't had a chance, so.
Okay.
Just put that to another time.
All right. Minutes?
Well, I wasn't here, but I didn't find any typos.
I did. Actually, it's.
Thank you, be careful.
Meeting agenda at the top instead of meeting minutes. I switched it up.
Oh, yeah, it does say,
And then,
yeah.
I found another one. I had public input twice, and one had none, and then the second one had the actual public input.
Oh, well, it's just a mess.
So I switched all the errors.
What's the matter with you?
I know.
Can we discuss
Distracted.
getting rid of that snow bylaw at a town meeting?
That town bylaw's been in effect for a lot of years. It's one of the first things my mother told me when I moved back into town and it snowed, and she was like yelling out her window at me from across the street saying, "You better
But I mean,
shovel your
I mean,
sidewalk."
it's just that, I mean, people go to work. You know, it's, people go out of town.
well,
I mean, what do you do?
What happens when you're like me? You leave at 6 in the morning, you're not back till 8 o'clock at night. I don't have a sidewalk, but what
Yeah.
if the town plows at 7 a.m. and,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, it's someone, obviously it's not, I'm just using me as an example, but there's or you're ill. You have to
Yeah.
hire somebody.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
You know, you can get your driveway done, but then you hire someone to do your sidewalk.
right.
I don't know. And they're not safe even when the town does them because they can't salt them and treat them, so. I don't know, that's something to consider. I know we've been discussing this forever. And at 10 o'clock, I don't care.
I make a motion that the meeting minutes be approved, based, it's amended by her.
Second.
Moved, seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Moved and seconded.